What is up, party people? So I have a fun treat for you guys today. We got Dr. Bob and we have Cliff, or you guys know him as Schrodinger's cat. We're gonna have some fun. I'm not gonna give away too much. I'm gonna kind of give you guys the platform because this is your spiel. I don't really know too much about the sovereign citizen thing, but besides for what I've seen on your channel, Schrodinger's cat. Do you want to kind of give us a layout of what we're doing today?
Thank you, Bob, for giving us all a fun night. So if you don't know what sovereign citizens are, they are people who think that they found some sort of loophole to where law does not apply to them for various reasons. And the things that we're going to see that happens to them as a consequence of this belief is hilarious. And we're all going to have a lot of fun watching it.
You know, I always like people that try and make interpretations based on their own end result that they desire, and just run afoul of common sense and reasoning. You know, we're going to have to take a little drink every time we hear the term traveling. And my term is traveling, and I've got my Corona. And Cliff, I think am I being detained is probably a good one for you.
Or am I free to go? And yeah, as well have my Corona beer. And nice. The first clip, Bob, you haven't seen this yet. The first clip is someone, a sovereign citizen at a hospital, insinuating that coronavirus is fake. So I put that in the front just for you.
All right. Let's go ahead and...
well, thank you very much, Cliff. I do appreciate it. I did enjoy Nathan Thompson who was it? Flat Earth Poker the other day. I really did enjoy that. So hopefully we'll have some...
see Nathan Thompson last night debated on Modern Day Debate, and I almost put that clip in, but I just didn't quite have time because he several times said that coronavirus is fake.
Oh, interesting. Are we going to be educating them with electricity today, do we hope?
There is some of that.
Excellent.
And we're also going to get to talk about the efficacy of prayer.
Excellent. All right, let's go. Let's see what you got.
It's going to be a good time. Take it away, Sean.
Well, I see he's got a prop. We've got a cane here.
Yeah, this guy, I can't see the screen right now. I need to see what's going on with that. This guy calls himself Blind Justice, and he, as far as I can tell, is pretending to be blind.
Why is that?
Because he always seems to point his camera in the perfectly right direction.
Well, I don't know if I am or not. I'm trying to figure out what the symptoms are, what we're screening for. I don't know if I have the right symptoms.
Okay, just step outside so we'll explain to you.
Oh, okay.
I don't appear to be having any audio, Sean.
No, I don't have any audio.
You know.
Can I ask you guys?
Yeah. Work here?
You what?
Do you work here?
Yes, do you?
No. Well, I mean, I'm working right now, but
Are you?
I don't work for the hospital. No.
Okay, are you a patient?
We're just trying to figure out what the screening process is, like, and what are the symptoms that people need to be aware of.
All right, so are you a patient?
I don't know yet. I don't know if I have any symptoms. So,
Okay, well then right now I need to ask you to leave. So if you're not being seen as a patient, then go ahead and ask you to leave.
Well, who's screening for symptoms?
Did you get in line over here and go through the tent?
Over where?
Over where?
It's
He's
choppy
blind, sir.
still.
He can't see.
I know, but can you see right here? Well, then look back here behind you. Come on, we'll get you walking through the process. How about that?
Yeah, thanks.
Cliff, it looks fine on YouTube.
Okay, good.
Is he sick or anything?
We don't know. We don't know the symptoms, so I have no idea.
What symptoms are you displaying right now?
Yeah.
What are the symptoms that you guys are to get a
Do
test?
you feel sick right now?
What's that?
Are you ill, need any type of emergency treatment?
I might. I don't know. What
The
are
thing
the
is,
symptoms
he could
that
do a
you guys are
WebMD
looking for?
search
Same
on
with
the symptoms.
CDC's and status.
Okay, what are those?
What do you mean, what are they? If you feel feverish, you have a cough, you have diarrhea, have you been around been COVID exposed in the last few days? Is that what you're worried about?
Right. We're trying to figure out to get a test, like what the requirement is to get a test, and what the screening
All
process
right,
is
so
like.
you asked for general information. You're not here as a patient.
I might, if
No,
if
it's
you,
not, there's no I might. You're here for emergency care or you're not. Are you or are you not?
I don't know. Like that's what I mean.
Okay.
If they're saying this is a really deadly thing, and there's
I'm not
certain
saying, I'm
if
not
there's certain
making these,
symptoms
I'm not making
Well, look
assessments
at
that
this.
indicate that,
Y'all look at
and
this
if I
shit.
have had that and I don't know that that is, like, how do I know until I find out
All
what
right,
the
so
symptoms
go
are?
look at the CDC guidelines. Okay?
Where is that?
Which CDC, you know what CDC is, right? Centers
No.
for Disease Control.
Okay.
I'm sure you've heard of that.
Where do I go for that?
You can go online. You can ask your buddy here to go online for you. You have somebody
Okay.
read the
Do you know if
articles
it's accessible for a blind person to get that information?
to you. Pardon me?
Do you know if it's accessible
pause real
online
quick,
for a
Sean,
blind
if you
person to
can.
get that information?
I'm
Yeah, so he's. Do I have an echo?
Yeah, we got the echo back.
Ah, shit. Okay, it seems to be gone.
Yep.
Yeah, all he has to do is a WebMD search, and he says, "Oh, I'm blind, I can't." Well, what about the guy standing next to him that showed up with him? They're clearly there just to stir the pot and take up resources.
Well, they seem to be doing that pretty well.
Yeah, they got like 7 dudes there.
Yeah, I like those nurses when they first walked in. They weren't there to serve cookies. Let's put it that way.
Oh yeah,
They
and they
walked
weren't
on in.
having
Those
any of
nurses
it.
stood right up and like, get out of my ER. That's where the term Gomer comes from. But
I did not know that.
yeah, that's what Gomer comes from. That the other one is Tobash. Take him out back and shoot him. But I wrote that one. But in any event, these guys are coming into a hospital trying to play ignorant and see whether or not their mother, who apparently is whoever's working in the hospital, will tell them if they're sick or not. And they're not. They're trying to come in like a veterinarian medicine. They don't want to give them any information and expect these people to just elicit all this from them when they're trying to take care of other people.
Yeah,
And
they're
the other
clearly
thing is,
insinuating that it's not a real emergency. That, oh look, nobody's here, and we don't. You won't even tell us what the symptoms are. Well, we don't. They don't have time to stand around and tell you what the symptoms are. If you have it, you probably know it.
well, the bottom line is, if you're in the hospital, it's because you're sick, and you know what you're feeling, and you tell them. You don't just sit down and say, "Well, I don't know if I'm sick or not. Tell me whether or not I'm sick."
I've
And
never gone to the ER and said, "Is my leg broke?"
well, yeah, some people do, but they kind of have a little bit of a clue. The bone sticking out through their pants is generally a pretty good clue that something's not right down there.
Yeah.
But the one thing that you never do is you never walk into an emergency room with somebody filming your interactions.
Oh
And
yeah.
that's a big red herring right there, or red flag, I should say.
Yeah. I mean, everybody by now knows what HIPAA is and why it's important.
Yep. So let's go see what he's doing here. I'm going to go back on mute.
Okay. Do you have that?
How do you get any?
Do you have that number?
How do you get any other information? I'm not here to give you them. What you need to do is go and leave the property. Both of you, go and
Okay.
leave. You're not here for emergency care, right? You
Well, I might
call-
be. I'm trying to figure out what's going on.
You're not, obviously, you're not here for emergency care.
Okay.
So you can
Are
go.
you a doctor?
Pardon me?
Are you a doctor?
No.
No, security.
Oh, you're
You're-
security.
You're not even making any affirmations you have any illness at all, are you?
Am I what now?
Are you making any reference to the fact you're sick right now?
No, I might have the symptoms, but I don't know what the symptoms are to be
Okay, I
concerned
just
about.
told you what the symptoms are. Have you had diarrhea in the last 24 hours? Are you displaying a cough? I haven't heard your cough since you've been here. Okay. Do you running a fever?
Should we be like 6 feet away?
Do you feel
Is that right?
sick?
Okay.
No, you need to be further away, like off the property.
Okay.
You can call communication marketing and give you all the information. about
Okay, do you have
that.
that number?
We'll be glad to have you as you walk off the property.
Okay, yeah. We gotta get to our
You
vehicle.
showing me that?
Yeah.
Where you guys parked?
I don't know.
We was gonna get
We gotta ride from
the
the
cart.
buggy.
We can get the buggy back up here. We'll be glad to
No,
take
we'll
off.
walk you down the hill. Where's your
I'm
vehicle?
handicapped, man.
Okay, where's your vehicle?
I don't even remember.
You don't remember?
It's in the parking garage somewhere.
Okay, which parking garage?
Hell, I don't even remember.
That's probably that's probably a problem. We'll walk with you and find it.
I don't. Look at all these escorts we get today. Wow. Just for asking questions about testing. We got like 7 goons with us.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And here comes another one. Now he's filming. Hey, now he's being a jerk filming you.
What are you doing?
Film that.
Okay.
You fucking asshole.
That's really asking for a lot of help.
Well, y'all ain't wanting to help. Y'all want to do is push away, push away, push away.
Sure, they answered every question you had.
Huh?
They answered all your questions you had.
No, he didn't finish to ask it. He didn't finish giving the damn answers until y'all go, hey, y'all gotta leave.
So why are you cursing and showing?
Because I
showing
can.
yourself right
That's
now?
why.
Because you can.
Exactly. I'm a free
You know-
American.
You know where we parked?
I don't.
You know?
We went come up the hill, so we
Okay.
didn't that one, I guess.
We gotta go
On the
right.
bottom floor.
Ask him if he's got communication marketing.
What about to get a test? How do you actually get the test done?
And after you've been assessed as having an illness, the physician.
All right, pause it here real quick. So those guys were the Diet Coke of sovereign citizens. Now we're getting into the real deal, and this is where it really gets hilarious. The last people were just annoying. These guys are seriously dumb.
I can't wait, man. Let's do it.
Hello. Peace.
So it's Gerald, is that right?
Yeah.
So Gerald, I need to see your license, your registration, and insurance, okay, man? You gonna provide that to me?
I already explained to you I haven't voluntarily applied for one of those. Actually, the police took my license from me, and I'm not Gerald Tyler Davis. Gerald Lee Davis, in case you're making a case of mistaken identity.
Okay. I need you to go ahead and step out of the vehicle for me, okay?
Okay, well, I will peacefully allow you to do whatever you want, and if you've witnessed me breach the peace, then remove me from the vehicle, because I'm a peaceful man.
Okay, can you step out for me, please?
No, I can't voluntarily consent to what I believe is a
Gerald.
crime on your behalf.
I've explained to you that you are required to identify
Well,
yourself.
I'll be bringing charges against you, person-to-person injury crime.
Okay.
I'm, like I said, I'm a peaceful man.
You have 2 options, Gerald.
I have more options than that.
Okay.
I have a right to remain silent.
Okay.
I'm done talking.
Pause it real quick, Sean.
Okay.
So the title of this video was Sovereign Citizen Gets His Window Smashed Again. So we can infer something from that about his ability to learn.
Well, maybe he'll have a different result this time. He can do the same thing and have a different result. Maybe his window won't get smashed this time because they've done some studying and learned the errors of their ways.
Maybe. Let's see.
Hey, Gerald.
Rick, stop it.
Gerald,
All right, folks.
You're
Put a
under
1
arrest, okay?
if you think the window's getting smashed, and a 2
understand
if you
that?
think the cops learned their lesson last time.
You're under arrest and you need to step out of the car.
Rick, stop it.
There'd be no need for violence. I'm a peaceful man. I love people. I care about people. I don't approve of people who use force, threat, and coercion to secure security interest.
And nobody's doing that.
Maybe you should do a little research. I have done the research. And you can call the district attorney that dropped my charges in the last situation if you care to. And
we
like
have
I said,
to do your
I
own
believe
research.
in acting lawfully. I don't believe anybody, not even in uniform, has a right to act against a peaceful human being.
And you are required is when you are driving a motor vehicle on a
yes,
highway.
and driving is a commercial term, which I am not engaging in. I'm not getting paid. I'm not working like you guys are, getting paid to act against a human being who's traveled from point A to point B. It's none of your business, sir.
It's none of my business.
No, I have a right to privacy. Maybe you should read your Constitution. It'd be awesome if you were acting on an oath. If you'd taken a sworn oath to uphold the laws that govern your conduct. Yes.
If you haven't been told we're recording, looks
yes,
like
so
you
am I.
probably are too.
Oh,
Very good.
definitely.
So
I have.
Understand this. You've stated what your views are, and I'm going to state a couple of things that are fact. Okay, right now you're under arrest for failure to carry and present your ID.
It's voluntarily to apply
you're under
for.
arrest, so you either step out of the car or we'll remove you from the car.
And I told you I won't resist at all.
You said something about voluntary, and we don't want to use any force either. I
Well,
would like you to step out of the car, though, please. Otherwise,
because I'm a peaceful man.
You'll be removed from the car, okay, sir?
Well,
you understand?
Yes, I know you're going to commit an act of crime against me, and you will be charged because you are not authorized to act against a human being. I've committed no crime. Oh my God! Oh my gosh!
Hold that dog!
There's the money
You better
shot.
hold that dog!
Oh, Rex. Can I stand it up?
We have to cover that carrying bush now.
You've damaged property.
Rex, sit down. Sit.
Think what you guys are doing right now.
Behave.
Think what you're doing. For what? Who do you think you're...
Rex, no.
You better hold that dog or he'll be shot.
I'll get out.
I got it.
Can I take my seatbelt off?
Can I have your driver?
We want to speak to your supervisor.
I'd like to
speak to your supervisor.
I love how he says, "I'm getting out. Can I take my seatbelt off?" Well, how the hell else are you going to get out without taking your seatbelt off? And I think I found a useful purpose for sovereign citizens. Auto glass companies could hire them to test their windows.
Well, I think his time for options is probably a little past, don't you?
I've never heard a cop say you're under arrest and then say, never mind. But once a cop tells you you're under arrest, you better get out of the damn car.
Well, yeah, but maybe they changed their mind. You're right.
Have you ever heard of one? that does
no,
that?
No, I don't think they do. I don't think
I've
they
never,
do.
I've never seen one write a ticket and then take it back, much less tell you you're under arrest. Oh, this next guy is very combative, and let's see how he fares.
Ooh, let's do a 1 for taser, a 2 for no taser. Now, mind you, I've not seen any of these.
No, you just told us we can't speak to your supervisor. We want to talk to your supervisor. Supervisor. I would like to supervisor. This is my license. We want to see your supervisor for no apparent reason, and I would like to speak with your supervisor, sir.
You're recording, okay?
That's right. I would like to speak with your supervisor. But you just said no, we can't see him when we just asked. So why you said no, we can't see him? I ain't finna stop recording nothing. Too many people getting killed over stupid shit. No. That man ain't did nothing wrong.
Listen to me. If you don't provide your driver's license, you will be.
I'm showing you. He's showing you to it. Pick your driver's license right there. You not finna write me no ticket for nothing that I didn't do. I'm sorry.
That's not how this goes. You have your day in court.
Well, I don't have time for. I'm not even from up here. I'm not coming to court because for the simple fact I didn't do anything wrong. This man stopped and told me to look and see. That's all he did. Man, this man. Can I speak with your supervisor?
You can after your.
No, at first you were saying no. Nah, I'm not giving you anything until your supervisor comes on. At first,
how this works, man.
At first you was saying no.
I'm rolling my window for your
At
safety
first
and
he
my
was saying no. At first he was saying no. Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me?
Now you got your gun out. What you got your gun out for?
We unarmed black men.
Unarmed.
We are unarmed black men in the vehicle. This some bullshit.
I'm at work, man.
At this point, you are under arrest.
Wow.
If you don't get out of the car, you will be charged with resisting arrest.
For what?
For what?
Get out of the car.
What you arresting him for?
Get out of the car.
I'm showing you my license. Only thing I want you to do is call your supervisor. This is my license.
You're playing games.
I'm not.
Yeah, we ain't nobody playing game. This life. This ain't no fucking joke.
This not a joke, man. It's black guys like me
Get shot every day just for stupid shit like this.
No.
Ain't nobody arguing with you. This man.
Not doing anything. I'm not reaching for anything.
Yes, you are. You're resisting.
You can't take my phone. This is my personal phone. You gonna elbow me in my face, bro? Get out of the car.
Resisting arrest.
Really, bro? You just elbowed me in my face, man. I didn't do it. I can't. I can't. I can't.
I guess I'm trying.
Man, this man tasing me. This man is tasing me. I'm trying to, man. How can I? Undo that. I didn't do anything. Man,
I hear the magic sound.
Yep. Okay. Here is where we get to test the efficacy of prayer. And the first guy here in the red shirt prays to a very interesting character that we're all going to get a good laugh out of.
I didn't do anything. Get that phone out of here. Man, I didn't.
Love y'all. Pray for me. Yes, sir.
Not rolling all your windows down for me.
Okay. Can I ask what for?
Say again?
Can I ask what for?
Because they're dark. I can't see anything.
Well, if you got a tester, we can test them.
Oh, it's not illegal to have one light down on your back window.
Okay.
The reason for the stop is your kayak or whatever it is sticking out of the back.
Oh, shit. What's wrong with it?
More than 3 feet protruding from the vehicle, you got to have a flag on.
Okay. I didn't know that.
You got insurance?
Yes, sir. What did you take? Laga Vista.
Take it?
Laga Vista. Around Austin.
Oh, Austin. Okay.
Cedar Park. It's between Cedar Park and Marble Falls.
I got you.
I have been kind of between addresses, to be honest with you, and I don't have the mail for where I get the registration from. So. But I did notice that.
Will you step out for me?
No, sir.
Say again?
No, sir.
No, you won't?
No, sir.
Well, yeah, you will. Step out. Step out or I'll break you.
See what I'm saying? My hands are up. Look. See what I'm saying, guys? Please just pray for me. Please, just pray for me.
Here's where it really gets funny.
Sir, you're gonna have to get a warrant. I know my laws. You're gonna have to get a warrant, sir.
Know my laws.
This is for all of y'all. They can't tell me to get out of my vehicle. It's not considered my homestead. It's considered something different. But this is why I need protection right here. I'm doing nothing wrong. I've done nothing wrong. I love y'all. Just pray for me. Just pray for me. If they shoot me, it's because everything that's going on. It's because I'm an honest man. I love you all. Please just pray for me. My hands are up. My hands are up in the air. I'm not doing anything. Please just pray for me. Please, somebody tag in Donald Trump.
Donald Trump, if you can hear us, please, Donald Trump, please save me. Please save me, Donald Trump, please. I'm asking you. Please save me. Please save me. Please get these people away from me. In dear God's name, please stop these people. They're breaking.
I would have laughed my ass off if they'd just gone over to the other side and opened up that door that he forgot to lock.
Apparently Trump doesn't save people.
I'm not doing anything, sir. I'm a believer in the Lord. I'm the Lord's child. I promise you. Give me your hand. I promise you. I'm not trying to resist. Okay, but listen. My wallet's right here. Okay, leave your hands right here. Okay. Hey, sir. Okay. Watch your feet. Watch your feet.
Okay. So let me guess, they asked him to get out of the car and he is now out of the car. I'm curious as to what exactly he thought was going to change from that. Any idea, Cliff?
I think he thought Trump was going to appear as if by magic and tell them to stop. I don't know. I don't know what getting your window smashed accomplishes other than making me laugh.
Well, my attorney always told me, no attorney is going to save you the ride to the police station. So you might as well not suffer fractures and such in that ride. Let them deal with it later.
On the side of the road is not a place to debate law. Cops do not debate law. Your place to debate the law is in the courtroom. You're not going to win a debate on the side of the road with a cop. I've never seen it happen.
Doesn't happen. They already make up their mind before they leave their car.
Unless you're extraordinarily nice, which these people are not.
All right, so no taser on this one. Let's see the next one, see whether or not we get one there.
Identification. You don't, driver's license is if the state converts a liberty into a privilege, the citizen can engage with the right with impunity. Driver's license is a privilege.
Okay, I still need to see the driver's
No,
license.
you don't.
I go drug traffic infraction.
No, you don't. Is it any crime? You just said you took an oath to the Constitution, and yet you're pulling us over, and we don't have a crime. You don't have a corpus delicti. You don't say we robbed anybody, we didn't kill anybody. So you're out of your jurisdiction, and you're finna lose your job. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You took an oath to the Constitution, sir. You're pulling us over without a crime.
No, there's an infraction.
There's not a crime. A infraction is not a crime. An infraction is not a crime. You just said you took an oath to the Constitution.
Okay.
Okay. There's nowhere in the Constitution where it says none of these legislations or regulations that you're saying is in the Constitution.
I still need to see a
No, you don't, because I'm not a driver. I'm not a driver.
Do you have an ID?
I don't need an ID. I'm a traveler. We are travelers. We're travelers. We don't need identification. All right. You want to keep... That's another second. We're going to sue this whole state. You're finna lose your job, sir. We know our rights. You're finna lose your job. No, you're finna lose your job. You're finna lose your job.
Does anybody have any forms of identification at all?
Identification is for a driver, not a traveler. We're travelers. Free men.
There you go,
traveling
Bob.
free on the land and in the land.
Okay.
Call your supervisor up here. Read that paper. You already took the paper. You took the paper already. So you know that you're in the wrong because it has it all on the paper right there. Read it. Read it. Tell him what you read on the paper is true because we're not drivers, we're travelers. You just said your whole job, your whole entirety of your whole being is on the Constitution. But you're not upholding the Constitution, but you're saying you're upholding the Constitution. Yeah, call him over here and read that paper too. Because you all in the wrong right now. It's no crime.
Well, like I said, I've observed traffic infractions.
It's no crime. That's not a crime. That's not a crime. Did we steal anything? Did we kill anybody? What? Did we rob anybody or did we kill anybody? Did we rob? No, answer the question. It's on video. Answer the question. Did we rob or kill anyone? Did we rob or kill anyone? Did we rob or kill anyone? Did we rob or kill anyone, sir? Did we? Did we or did we not? You're on camera right now. We're going to sue this whole state. You're finna lose your job. Lie.
Sir, I'm trying to be patient with you.
It's no patience. You don't need to be pulling us over. We're not driving.
Are the only two crimes either robbing or killing someone? Did I miss that? Where that was changed? That was my only point.
These guys are great.
There's no.
I wonder if they even know what traveling means.
Speeding, driving
No, they
without a
don't.
license,
And it
wrong
gets
place or
better.
no plates, no registration,
But
no
I
tags
love
have been
how
held
he's
as
reading from like a
non-arrestable
little
offenses.
sticky note that he pulled
I
out
can
of
give
his
you the codes
pocket.
too if you want them. I do not consent to anything you're saying. I don't even know who you are. You don't have 3 points of identification. You don't even have your name tag on. You don't have 3 points of identification. You could be trying to kidnap us right now because you're harassing us right now. We're free beings. We're travelers, and you're harassing us right now. You're not upholding your job. You are not upholding the Constitution right now.
Hang on a
You
second,
don't have
Sean.
no corpus delicti, sir.
I don't know. You hear the constant verbal diarrhea that he's got going out where he's just trying to overtalk and overtalk and overtalk. Does this sound remotely familiar to any other people that we're familiar with?
Yeah, and if you have a Venn diagram of flat earthers, sovereign citizens, and anti-Semites, it almost looks like a single circle. And by the way, corpus delicti doesn't mean what he thinks it means.
That word you use, I don't think it means what you say, what you think it means.
Yes, indeed. More stupid.
All right, go ahead, Runner.
You can tell your officer that because I'm pray because he's not going to understand what we're saying. Father, we're praying to you right now. Close this. Close it. Almighty in heaven, we're coming to you right now to get this demon to flee from our car right now. Get him, Father. Get him, Father, right now at this very moment. Please get us out of this situation right now. He know he's doing everything illegal. He know he's doing stuff illegal, Father. Get him out of our car right now. Get away from our car right now, Father. Right now, Father, get him out of our car and mother on earth. In the name we bind these demons that's becoming on our car right now, and we ask them to flee right now at this very moment. Protect your children right now. We're not doing anything wrong, Father. We're following your law and not man's law. We follow the Creator's law and not man's law. And he's out of he is transgressing your law right now.
Was there something
moment,
about
Father,
give
so
unto
please
Caesar what is Caesar? I seem to recall reading that in the Bible somewhere.
Yeah, that too. But later on, and I'll get Sean to pause it when we get there, it appears that he's praying to someone other than God. And I'll stop us when we get to that part.
Okay.
Please, Father, get him right now. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Tell him to flee from this car right now, Father. Flee from this car right now, demon. Flee from this car right now, demon. Flee from this car right now, demon. Flee from this car right now. In the name of the Father and the Mother on earth and in heaven.
Protect us right now.
Protect us right now, Father. Please 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 protect us right now, Father. We're not here to sin. We don't bow down to my mammon. We only bow down to your law.
Yep, I keep one in my truck. It's called a Houdini tool.
Which they took your law and twisted it around, Most High. They took your commandments and twisted them around. They took your Torah and twisted it around to make their own law. We're telling him right now in his ignorance that he's wrong. He's still persisting to harass your children, to harass your daughter and your son, Most High. So please help us right now. Get him away from my window right now, Most High. Get him right now, Most High. Get him right now, Most High.
If you can go back like 5 seconds. I know that's probably not easy to do. It appears here that he's praying to the Most High. And correct me if I'm wrong, Sean and Bob, you may know better than me. Is it the Most High Snoop Dogg? Or perhaps Willie Nelson?
Oh, that is a painful dad joke.
I've been planning this all day, Bob. Don't take this away from me.
He's
All right,
here all week, folks.
Let's roll
Don't
more
skip
stupid.
the servers.
Still persisting to harass your children, to harass your daughter and your son, Most High. So please help us right now. Get him away from my window right now, Most High. Get him right now, Most High. Get him right now, Most High. Please, the creator of the whole universe. And his ignorance, get him right now. Get him right now, Most High. Please. Please get him right now, Most High. Please. Please, let him flee right now. Send him back to his car right now, Most High. Please. All they do is take your law and your words and your ways and twist them around. Tell him to get away from us right now. Tell him to get away from us right now, Most High. Please, the creator, the almighty of everything there is, the all-sovereign being of all. Let him get away from the car right now, Most High. Take him away from the car right now, Most High. Take him away from the car right now, Most High. Right now, Most High. Forgive us for what we done wrong. If we done anything wrong of your law, forgive us right now. We repent for our sins. Have mercy and grace upon your service, Most High, and take him away from this car at this very moment. Take him away from this car right now. Right now, Most High, take him away from this car. We told him his fault and his ignorance, Most High. He still doesn't want to listen, Most High. Take him away from this car right now, Most High, please. Please take him away from this car right now. Please take him away from this car right now, Most High Almighty. Please. Please have mercy on your service, Father. Please, Father and Mother on earth, please. Take him away from this car. Please take him away from this car. Please take him away from this car. Please take him away from this car. He's gone.
And if y'all can't hear, his wife or girlfriend or common law wife or whatever is praying right next to him. So this is double stupid.
At this very moment, make him flee. We do not bow down to Mammon at all. We do not bow down to Mammon at all, Most High. We do not bow down to Mammon. Get us out of this situation at this very moment. Take him away from my car. Please take him away from my car. Please take him away from my car. Let us be safe and peace.
I'd laugh my ass off if a lightning bolt came down and vaporized the cop right now.
Please take him away from this car right now, Most High.
That would be
compelling. You have authority and power to do so. Take him away from this car right now, Father.
You have all the power and you have all the glory, Father.
Yes, you do, Father. Yes, you do, Father. Yes, you do, Father. Please take him away from the car. Please take him away from the car.
We're letting you take control of our minds right now,
yes,
Father.
Most High.
We're giving you our free will right now, Father. And right now, we ask that you bind up this negativity, bind up this energy right now that we're going through, bind up the situation, and cast it back down to the pits of hell where it belongs, Father. Please, that's all we're asking you to do right now, Father. We don't know who this man is. We don't know what his intentions are. But, Father, we need you to keep us safe right now. We have people that we have to let these know. Show them what these demons are trying to do to us, Father. Let them know that they have to stand their right. Do not bow down to Mammon. Never bow down to Mammon. Stand your ground. Always stand your ground. Regardless of what they say to you. They can call you any name they want. They can threaten you as much as they want to. But Father, let us stand our ground and let us continue to believe in what we believe in. We know that you are powerful, Father. We know how grateful we are. We know how merciful you are, Father. You are the one. Oh, Father, hallelujah, hallelujah, Father. Please, Father, send
please forgive us. Send your angels right now, Most High. Send your angels right now to protect us, to lead and guide us, not into harm, not into the deep and wide bridge, but into the narrow way. Take them away from this car right now, and anybody else who want to come to this car, take them away right now.
I'm thinking the cop's on the phone with his anger management counselor.
Take them away right now, Most High. Get them away from us.
I think his anger management counselor is telling him to smash the window.
We know we're going to be put through the fire.
But Father, think the anger management counselor is losing his temper?
Please do not dwell far away from us. Give us the courage, give us the strength, give us the faith, give us the
let's watch and see.
The meekness, the holiness, the temperance, the self-control. Please stay with us right now, Father. Please stay with us right now. Please stay with us right now. He won't leave our car. Please tell him to leave. Right now. Get away from my car. Get him, Father. Get him, Father. Please get him. Please get him, Father. Please. Please, Father, get him right now away from my car. Right now, Most High. Please get him away from my car. 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 Please get him away from my car, Most High. Please get him away from my car, Most High. Please get him away from my car. Make him flee at the very moment. Make him flee right now. Make him flee right now. Right now, flee. Right now, put him where he belongs, Most High. Please, Almighty, please help your service. Please help us. Help us, please, 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 Almighty Sovereign Leader of all, please help us. Please help us.
The Most High must
Please
be on
help
his
us.
coffee break.
Please help us, Father. Please help us. Please help us, Father. We prophesy right now that he is going to leave this car right now. He's going to walk back to his car and he's going to go by his way. And you get him, Most High. We don't deal with mammon. We do not deal with mammon. He's trying to open our door right now. Father, please help us. Please help us. He's beating on our door, Father. Please help us right now. We don't know who this man is or what he's trying to do. Please get him away.
Why does he have to give a running commentary to God of what the cop is doing? Doesn't God know?
We don't do service with them. We do not do business with them. Please get him away from this car. Please get him away from this car right now, Father. Please get him away from this car right now. Please get him away from this car right now. Please get him away from this car right now. He's interrupting our prayer. Father, please get him right now. Right now, Father, get him away from this car. Get him away from this car. Now, Almighty. Now, Almighty Sovereign Leader of all. Get him away from this car right now, Father in heaven and Mother on earth. Please get him away. He's interrupting our prayer. He's interrupting our situation right now. Please get him away. Please get him away. Please don't let them take me. And if they do take me, give me the faith and the strength to not bow down to mammon, Father.
Let them not take him, Father.
Please, Father, send them away right now.
Where's the key at?
Please send them away right now. I got it. Please send them away right now, Father. Please help us at this very moment. Please, my Master, please help us. Please help us. Please help us. Please help us right now. Please help us right now, Father. We don't need a driver's license. We don't need a driver's license. We are travelers. Father, just help us right now. Please help us right now, Father. Please help us right now. Oh, Father, please help us right now. Please help us right now, Father. Please help us right now. Get the demons away from my car. Get the demons away from my car, Father. Please get them away from my car. Please get them away from my car. Please get them away from my car. They're trying to get in our car. Please get them away from my 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 car right now. Please, Father, that's surrounding our car, Father. Please. Please help us at this very moment, Father. Please get them away from my car.
Provide a driver's license
right now, Father. Don't let them interrupt our conversation.
We need you right now, Father. We need you right now, Father.
Might not be a bad idea to have your hands in plain sight there,
We
Slick.
stand our ground right now, Father. We stand our ground right now, Father.
Yeah, that fact gets borne out here in a second, or maybe a minute or so.
We ask that you don't let
Father, get them right now. Get them right now, Father God. Almighty Creator of the universe. We only bow down to you, not to mammon. Please let no harm come to us. We know we are travelers. We're not drivers. Please help us right now, Father. Please. Please, Father, help us right now. Send them away from my car.
You know, it'd be really helpful if they put this stuff into landscape rather than this portrait mode so that we could get the whole experience.
Yeah, that seems to be a running trend with these people. That inability to properly film anything.
Father, please help us right now. Please help us right now. Please help us right now. Don't let them do harm to your service, Father.
Prayers right now, Father. Please touch our hearts and touch our minds.
Please touch our minds and our hearts, Father. Please. Please help us right now. Please help us right now, Father. Please.
This is not a game,
Father. For my sins, anything I've done wrong, give me the faith, Father. Please give me the faith. Forgive us for anything that we have done wrong, Father. Please. Please, right now, Father. Please help us. Please help us. Please. I know we don't listen to them. We don't bow down to mammon at all. Please, Father, help us right now. Please, Father, help us right now. Do not let us bow down to mammon. Give us the strength. Give us the courage. Give us the faith right now, Father. Let them flee away from our car right now, Father. We know we haven't done anything wrong towards your law, Father. They're transgressing your law. They're the one taking your law and making something out of it that's not. Please, Father, be with us right now.
There's no crime
Please,
committed.
Father.
There was no crime committed. There was no crime committed, Father. There was no crime committed. There was no crime committed. There was no crime committed.
Since you're failing to provide any identification, either one of you are both under arrest at this point for obstruction. Understand that.
Please, Father, help us right now, Father. Please don't let them put any fear in our heart. Please don't let them send any fear in our heart. Please don't let them put any fear in our heart, Father. Please.
So now he's placed them under arrest, so they're kind of screwed at this point.
Right now, we need you more than ever, Most High. Please, please, Father, get him away from my car. Please, Father. Please, please, Father, get him away from my car. Please, Father, get him away from my car. Don't let them threaten us. Please. Please, Father, please. Please, Father, help us right now, Father. We're not under arrest, Father. We only bow by your law, Father. Please, please, please tell them to leave us alone, Father. Please tell them to leave us alone. Please get them right now, Father. Please. Please, 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 please help us right now, Father. Please help us right now, Father. Please help us right now, Father.
Please, Father.
Please, Father, help us right now, Father. Please help us right now. Please help us right now, Father. Please help us right now, Father. Please help us right now, Father. Please. Please control these demons, Father. Send them back to the pit of hell where they came from. We prophesy right now that they leave us alone. Right now, Father. We prophesy that they leave us alone right now. We know the law, Father. We know the law, Father. Please protect us. Be with us. Send us love.
Pause
Send us
real quick,
faith.
Sean.
Don't give us fear. Do not give us fear, Father. Do not let us.
So he just said that I prophesied that they leave us alone. We're going to find out if this prophecy comes true.
We're going to see whether or not his girlfriend takes a second thought on whether or not she should have followed his lead.
Yeah, she hitched her wagon to the wrong horse.
Let us bow down to them. Do not let us stop into them. Please, Father, help us right now. Help your children right now, Father. Where are you, Father? Please don't be far away from us. Where are you, Father? Where are you? Where are you, Father? Please help your children. Please help your children, Mother and Father on earth and heaven. Please help us, Father. Please. Please protect your children. Please protect your children,
We need
Almighty.
you right now, Father. We need you right now, Father. We need you right now, Father. Please, Father. Please let these demons free from us right now, Father. Please let these demons free from us right now, Father. We love you right now, Father. Forgive us for any sins that we have done, Father.
Please help us.
And please, Father, forgive us for any sins that we have done,
Please, Father, help us.
Get ready on the pause button, Sean. Because it's about to get real.
Get these wicked spirits.
I'm thinking the wings are off and they're on fire right now.
Please don't let us be our demise, Father. Please keep us. Please talk to us. Please walk with us. Please do not be far from us. Please protect us. Please put courage in our heart. Please don't put fear in our heart. Help us right now, Father. From the bottom of our feet, from the top of our crown, please help us. Please, Father, please, 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 please help us. Please help us right now, Father. Please. Do not let us bow down to mammon. Please give us the strength. Give me the strength. Give my wife the strength, Father, right now. Get these demons away from my car. 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 Please, please get these demons away from our conveyance, Father.
We're not scared of them.
Please get them away from our conveyance right now.
We won't be scared of them, Father. We won't be scared of them. We're not scared of them, and we won't be scared of them. 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 Father. We won't be scared of them. We won't be scared of them, Father. Let them go. Let them go. Let them go.
Let them go right now, Father. Please let them go right now, Father. Please get away from my car. Please, Father, help us
don't
right
let
now.
this be the end of us, Father. We still have a mission to do, Father. Let us continue.
Kind of curious as to why she keeps asking God to let them go when she's got the keys right there.
There should be no fear at all. There should be no fear at all.
That's a good question.
Let no fear harm you, guys. I'm telling you, let no fear harm you. Please stand your ground. You have to be firm in this. If you bow down, you are just, you're giving up. You're giving up on the Most High.
Also, remember the part where she said that she's not scared.
Guide us right now, Father. Let the Spirit guide us right now, Father. Let the Spirit guide us right now. Let the Spirit know.
Send these demons away from our car, Most High. Please, Father, please, Father, forgive us for everything that we've done. They're ganging up on us right now. Please help your children. Please help your children, Most High. Let us not be scared. Let us not be afraid. Let us not be timid. Let us not be weak-hearted. Let us not be faint-hearted. Let us not be light-weighted. Please help us right now, Father. Please, please help us right now. Give us strength, Father. Please give us strength. Please give us strength right now. Here he comes again. Get this demon away from my car. Get this demon away from my wife. Whatever you need to do it.
We'll do whatever you want
Most
us to
High,
do.
we bow
We'll
to
go
you.
where you want us to
Please,
go, Father.
please.
We'll do
We'll
what you
obey
want
your
us to
word.
do,
We'll
Father.
obey your way.
everything
We'll
that you
obey
want
your
us to
will.
do,
Just
Father.
get them away from
We
my
obey
car. Do
everything
not
that
let
you
them
do,
hinder
Father.
us.
Please,
Do not
Father,
let them
Lord,
harm
don't
us
let
at
them,
all.
no, Father, don't let them do that.
Please, Father,
don't
let them get
do
away
that.
from my car right now. Please, Father, let them get away from my car right now.
Father,
Please,
let
Father,
them
get them
go.
away from my car.
Please, Father,
Please, Father,
let them
get
go
them away
right
from
now.
my car. Please, Father, get them
let
away
them
from
go
my
right
car.
now,
Please, Father,
Please,
get them
Father,
away
let
from
them
my
go
car.
right now, Father.
Please get
Please,
them
Father,
demons
let them go right now,
away
Father.
from my
Please
car.
send them away
Get
from
these
us right
demons
now,
away
Father.
from my car.
Please send them
Get
away
these
from
demons
us
away
right
from
now,
my car.
Please
Get
send
these
them
demons
away
away
from
from
us
my
right
car.
now.
Get these
Please
demons
send
away
them
from
away
my
from
car.
us right
In
now,
the
Father.
name of the
Please
Mother
send
and the
them
Father
away
in
from us
heaven
right
and
now,
on
Father.
earth and
Right now,
within us
Father.
and
Please send
around
us
us.
away from
Get
us
them
right
away
now,
from my
Father.
car
Let
right
them
now,
not
Father.
scare us.
Please get
Let
them
them
away
not
from my
scare us
car
right
right
now,
now.
Father. We are
Get
not
them away
scared of
from
them.
my
We are not
car.
scared of
They're
them,
finna
Father.
break our
We
window.
love you.
Please get them
We
away
love
from
you,
my
Father.
car.
We are not
Please
scared
get
of
them
them.
away from
We
my
are not
car right
scared of
now.
them, Father. We
Please
are
get
not
them away
scared
from
of
my
them.
car right
We are
now.
not scared
Please
of
get
them.
them away
We
from
are
my
not
car right
scared of
now.
them.
Please get
We
them
are
away
not
from my
scared
car
of
right
them.
now,
Please do
Father.
not break
Please
our.
get them
Please
away
do
from
not
my
let them
car right
break our
now.
window.
Please
Please
get
do
them
not
away
let
from my
them break
car
our
right now,
window.
Father.
Please do not
Please
let
get them
them
away
break
from
our
my
window.
car right
Please do
now.
not let them break our window. They will not break
Please
our
get them
window.
away from
They
my
will
car
not
at this
break our
very
window.
moment,
Let them
Father.
not break
Please
our
get them
window.
away
Let
from my
them not
car.
break our window.
Please
Let
get them
them
away
not
from
break
my
our
car
window.
right now.
Let them not
Please
break
get
our
them away from
window.
my car. Oh, Father, Father, please don't let them shoot us. Please don't let them
Please,
shoot
Father,
us.
do not
Please
let
don't
them.
let them
Please
shoot
do
us,
not
Father.
let them.
Please.
Here's where you know you fucked up. If you had any doubt before, this visual right here is when you know you fucked up. And if you've never heard a grown man turn into a little screaming bitch, then just listen a little further. Bob, anything?
Well, normally when they're really mad at you, they take out a handgun instead of a taser. This guy's got a freaking M4 pointing at the guy. This is
Yeah.
serious.
Yeah. And listen to his reaction, because I think he knows he fucked up at this moment. Let's roll the stupid.
Please do not let them kill us, Father. Please, Father, forgive my transgressions. Please, Father, forgive us. For everything, Father. Oh, my God, Father! Father, no! Father, don't let them take us!
I do not consent. I do not consent to anything. I do not consent to anything. I do not consent to anything. I do not consent to anything.
We do not consent!
I do not consent. That's true, Sean. Got to take a drink.
We do not consent. We do not consent. We do
Your
not
consent
consent
is not
to anything.
required at
We
this
do not
moment.
consent to anything. We do not 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 consent to anything. You guys are telling. We do not consent to anything. We do not consent to anything. We do not consent to anything.
So how much fun was that?
I'm thinking they were consented. What about you, Cliff?
She said she does not consent to anything. Would she consent to
I
being let
think
go?
I think that they were consented, is what I said.
Yeah, that's kind of like, well, you and I were both in the military. You are familiar with being voluntold
Voluntold,
instead
you
of
betcha.
volunteering. Yeah, they're being voluntold to get the fuck out of the car.
Yeah, I haven't been able to talk this whole time, but wow, wow. Ooh, I what I don't understand is in that last one that we were looking at is was it in repetition at some point that that praying that much works?
Well, you would almost think that it was running in a loop, but that was not a loop. That was just him saying this, or well, both of them saying the same thing over and over.
That at one point, honestly, about halfway through it, I thought, what if the cop just like left? What would have happened?
I would for a bolt of
That would be
lightning personally.
hilarious.
That would have been at that one point where it's just like, okay, maybe I should start.
You know what those guys at the border ought to do? You know the border guards that are down there and they're constantly saying, pulling, you got to go through the little checkpoint. Are you a citizen of the United States? Yes, great. Have a great day. See you later.
Mm-hmm.
That little border checkpoint.
Yeah.
I would just like to get one that says, I'm not going to answer that question. And have the guy just sit there and pause, goes, oh, okay, well, I guess you can go then.
Have a good day.
Have a great one. Sorry
Yeah,
about
thanks.
wanting to search.
Sorry about inconveniencing you.
Oh, and surprise, surprise! In the chat, it appears that SE Montreal and Slick James are both sovereign citizens. No surprise there.
I
Remember
never
that Venn
pegged it.
diagram that you discussed?
Oh yeah.
You know, I like Slick James arguing with an attorney about the flag, the fringe on a flag, which of course anybody that's
Oh my
ever
God.
even looked at any basic things on that says that has no legal. That has no legal. I mean, the courts have literally ruled on it, and they still try and claim that makes it a maritime court. So, like pour a bucket of ice water on their head, or are you wet? Maritime court. Let's go.
Yeah, well, at my last company, in our conference room, we had a gold French flag in the conference room. And I've asked several sovereign citizens, does that mean that company was under maritime law? They just go silent. That is literally decoration on the flag.
You know what the gold fringe on the flag is? That is the wiggle the independent variable of sovereign citizens.
It's the perspective of sovereign citizens.
And you were talking about earlier where he was praying to like the Most High. I kind of do myself, probably a little different. I only talk about when I'm smoking though. But what view is that from? Where does that come from? Who like?
I'm thinking that might be AEM or AME, excuse me.
Yeah, AME
dyslexia,
is what I would say.
Yeah, dyslexia cure for found.
Yeah.
But that you see that in some of the fundamentalist churches in the South. The evangelical churches down in the South.
Yeah, because it was.
Any idea where that video was from?
I pulled it from Van Balen. I've seen it a few different places because it's just so hilarious. It made its rounds about a year ago. But that's one of the funnier ones that I knew of. So was my go-to for the crescendo of this hangout.
Yeah, that was amazing because the one the guy you were talking about originally about the one that was praying to that was probably my favorite.
Donald Trump.
Yeah, the one was like, wait, what did he just say? I'm trying to find it in the middle video, so give everyone a little bit more of a reference. But that one was amazing to me. It was just like he looked right at the camera and was like, Trump, save
Donald Trump, if you can hear me.
Yeah, like as if what would happen is he would basically Trump would get this random phone call, and the cop would go
on the red phone on the red phone.
Yeah. And what would happen is that the highway patrolman would have been like, oh my, fuck, yes, yes, here you go, and he'd have been like, grab him by the pussy,
Snoop Dogg.
Grab him by the pussy, and go. Yeah, it was amazing when he did that. I didn't know, and that was what every one of these people started looking at it as if any of that stuff the cop was gonna go, oh my bad. I didn't know. My bad. I didn't know you didn't consent to this. I thought you were a citizen. My bad. Let me just go about my business.
You're traveling?
Yeah.
Oh, well, then have a nice day.
Yeah. I thought you were driving. My bad. Go ahead and continue traveling. Yeah, and I did a little bit of research on it and was looking like little bits and pieces, and some of this stuff it's so nitpicky in the way they're even trying to say this stuff. It's weird.
It is literally Anthony Riley level cherry picking.
I hate to say it. I don't know if this is. Oh, no, okay, I won't. I was gonna say I thought maybe it was worse, but I actually have had recent conversations with Riley, and that is a very special person.
Oh yeah.
I'm not sure if you guys heard or not. Apparently, general relativity actually explains not only the effects of gravity, but apparently it also explains what the source of gravity is. I was amazed when Riley told me this. So yeah, he may be worse.
And for all my sovereign citizen viewers who don't know who Anthony Riley is, you're in for a treat if you want to like go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, that's a different level, a different level. Yeah, and then when it comes to the last couple in your series, that I really thought if you pray, maybe that's the problem. Maybe when we were younger and we prayed, for, this cool toy or, this girl to say yes. Maybe we just didn't do it enough. Maybe we had to have done it 1,005 times. And I really thought this guy was going to show it. And
kind of like a prayer wheel down at the stream.
Exactly.
But there's another video out there that I didn't pull, but it's worth doing a search for, where the guy gets pulled over and he tries the sovereign citizen stuff, and his wife throws the bullshit flag, and she is like, "You are not doing this with me and the children in the car. You can pull your bullshit some other time." And she like cracks the whip on his ass.
That's what you need to see. The wife, look at him and go, "Where's the taser?"
Kind of like a Mrs. CC.
Yeah, I'll tase him myself.
Kind of like a Mrs. CC. I don't care about your flat earth crap. Help me with these bags of groceries.
I heard about that one. Yeah,
idiot. You didn't watch it?
I watched it. It was epic.
It was great, and it made the rounds after that too. But nobody gave me credit for it. I was the first.
I'm sorry. When I look back, Cliff, the only thing that I can ever remember is the pranks you play.
The firecracker.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And not once, twice.
That's not even on my channel. That's on your channel.
Yeah, I got to get that for you.
Yeah, do that. That was awesome.
As long as your wife can't hear me now, do it again. Because
for anybody listening that doesn't know what we're talking about, we were on a hangout one summer evening. This was last summer, wasn't it?
Yep. Yes, it was.
So my wife was taking a nap with the window open, and I was out in the garage, and I blew up some firecrackers outside the window about 5 feet from where she was sleeping. It was hilarious.
Not once. 2 separate occasions. We got
and both times she came to the window and screamed at me.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's amazing to see. Hopefully, Cliff, you record some doing
I'm
that.
Still married.
Yeah, that's the amazing part. I'm telling you, I could just tell every day she's just something. I didn't want to say it out loud. She probably doesn't want her plan out there.
That's why I don't let her see the life insurance papers.
Exactly.
Yeah, dry ice is the key. It's untraceable.
Can't give all the secrets away.
Hey, Cliff, is Halon traceable?
I don't know, but I know it'll kill the hell out of you. I don't know if it's traceable.
I know, but it doesn't matter whether or not it's going to kill the hell out of you. The question is can they prove that that's what you use to kill the hell out of people?
I don't know. I would say
that would be a research project.
I would think carbon dioxide would be pretty untraceable.
It's the dry ice.
Yeah, because it just sits in your lungs and it's heavier than oxygen, so it just basically doesn't let the air in. I wonder, it would just show hypoxia, which I don't know if that would be able to be traced back to CO2. Let's check that out. I've got some homeless people in the area that we could use as test subjects.
Oh no, yeah, we're gonna get Sean's channel pulled right off it. I think this is a good time to end this conversation. Let's go on to the next video.
That's all of them, unless we want to just pull some random ones.
Guys, anything ready?
Anybody in the audience have a good one?
Yeah. I am watching the chat. What's up, guys? I do apologize for the silence. It was kind of a if they can hear it or not situation, so I had to keep myself muted, but I got to enjoy it. That was fun. Cliff, you're doing a lot more of this is what you're doing a lot more of from the stuff you prior to that side of the stupid. Do you have anything coming up real soon, or are you still working on something?
Yeah, I've got 3 videos from a lady who calls herself, she apparently believes that she's an empress. And I've got a 3-part video of her, 3 successive days getting, well, and in one of them she gets arrested, and that's the one that I'm working on right now. That'll probably be out maybe tomorrow if I get time. And then here in a couple weeks, I'm going back on the road. I'll be in New London, Connecticut. And so sitting in the hotel in the evenings, I'll have time to make some more videos. So there's more coming. So everybody keep your eyes peeled.
Yep, and just for those of you who live under a rock, Schrodinger's cat and Dr. Bob the Science Guy, link is in the description right below, right under where everything's going on. Go ahead and click that and subscribe to him. Make sure you like all that good stuff. Dr. Bob, you got anything going on? I know you.
Well, right now I'm kind of still working on my Spanish influenza / COVID-19 series.
Mm-hmm.
And I just finished the 3rd one on that. Now I've just got to do some of the production work on it, and then I've got one more to do, and I'll have all of Spanish influenza done. And I'm getting ready to start a series on Mondays when my current series ends that is going to be how rational people can counter flat earth arguments. And what I'm doing is I'm using examples of what I've done and what others have done to show a typical flat earth arguments and how you take it apart.
Yep.
And that way there, when you get people that are not as familiar with the debate style that flat earth responds to, they can actually look at these things and get some ideas on how they can counter some of the nonsense they hear in flat earth chat rooms and such.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that's a definite must. I think instead of, I've been kind of talking about it, I kind of think we're at the point now where we know nothing's going to be said, so it's time to either, put up or shut up, I guess you would say, right? I mean, it's one of those things now where we're talking to the same people, and it wanting the answers is completely what they're supposed to be in it for, yet they're not gathering answers. So I think that's a real good thing to showcase that, it's not so much what they're saying, it's how they're saying it.
Well, the thing is, it doesn't matter how many times you counter their argument, they'll never learn from that counter. And they'll just give the same argument again. And since they can't think of any new ones, it's pretty easy to just kind of like pick the top 10 arguments and hear the standard answers to it. And that ends the discussion.
Yeah.
Right. And Jose has had 2 shows in the last several months. One of them was basically anybody show up and give positive evidence for flat earth.
Yep. 0
flat earthers showed up. And then just, was it yesterday? He had the one that said flat earthers show up and all these globe earthers are in the panel. Just ask them questions. They do not get to ask you questions. No flat earthers showed up. So that shows you their level of confidence in what they say they believe.
Yeah.
Well, one of the keys to doing it is you've got to try and make them think they're arguing against something else. Okay. A classic example the other day was with Brandon Toy, who tried to make a very slick little switcheroony there at the end. We had the example where you have an 8-pound bowling ball and a 16-pound bowling ball. If it's density that makes objects fall, you would think that something that's twice as dense as the other would fall twice as fast or some difference. So why do they hit the ground at the same time? And, the bowling balls are all exactly the same volume and same cross section, so the air resistance doesn't change. And their density is considerably greater than air. So he tried to get slick.
Yeah,
say,
with the 8 ounce.
I have a styrofoam bowling ball that weighs 1 ounce, which revealed him to be a Poe because he knows that the air resistance then would become significant compared to the mass of the bowling ball. when you have a massive object, the air resistance is rather minimized compared to the total force of gravity pulling on the mass of the object. But if you have less force of gravity pulling on the object because the object has very little mass, the air resistance becomes important. But he seemed to think that he had a victory on it, and seems to have failed to understood that I forced him to indicate or to admit that there is a downward force acting on those objects externally. So he basically confirmed gravity. He just doesn't realize that's what he did.
Yeah.
And then faced with a video of things falling in a vacuum chamber, they just have to say that it's fake.
Yeah. When you were talking about the testing gravity and, like, for instance, the vacuum with the bowling ball and the feather, I was actually watching a lecture on hang on one sec. A lecture on Newtonian physics, basically what the lecture was about. But they were giving more of a simpler example of how we can test gravity and see the effects are consistent with other tests and experiments we do. You can get an apple and a rock, and from 5 feet up, do the same test and see that they do drop at the same. They have the same acceleration as each other. It's not a situation where you have to get a big chamber and start it up 100 feet up and vacuum it out. You don't have to do all this. There's little simple tests that these people can do, and getting those type of things out and explaining those is a surefire way to see if at least they want to try. But
right. All you need is a ladder and a decent camera.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's just, again, it's not like which one drops first. You will see that their acceleration is the same. And it's that the air resistance or the atmosphere resisting against it, that plays a factor when you're talking about thousands of feet or hundreds of feet. And that's why a bowling ball and an apple aren't going to hit at the same time. But when you drop them from a situation where the atmosphere is not going to play much of a factor, 6, 7, 10 feet up, you can see the same effects.
Do we want to put the link out there and see if some other people want to come in? Maybe Artrexis and Slick may want to have a go.
All right. Yeah. Open up to everyone.
Sure.
All right.
Slick, I'm pulling for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Slick and Dan the Waterman, come on in with Artrexis and see whether or not you can make that maritime law thing float.
And I'm going to give out the understanding now for everyone. Just so everyone knows, this is their show. This is their platform. So at best, I can make it so if everyone's talking at once, it's not going to be good for their audio. So, but when it comes down to it, this is not the Truth Army platform at the moment. So they're running the show, just so everyone understands.
Yeah, thanks. It was a little difficult because you can hardly hear the presentation.
Yeah,
on this end, and there's this huge delay, and it's very choppy, and it's kind of difficult to follow along. So you got to follow along on your phone, and then you've got to look at try and respond in here, and there's 30 seconds difference.
Yeah, it's a pain in the butt. It's again one of those things where so you pick the right hangout for what you need, and me versus what I have it's not. I don't know why it wasn't working. The good part is that when you go back into it and you go to your channel, everything on YouTube was playing smooth though. So
yeah, exactly.
And that echo had like no one was hearing the echo. It was just you guys that would hear it, But that was just the way my audio was running and how I had to play with it. What is up, Artrexis? How you doing, sir?
What's up?
Hey, thanks for stopping in, man. It's good to see you.
No problem. Hey, how's it going? I'm not sure if we've ever talked live before. How's it going?
Pretty good, pretty good. I had to jump at this opportunity to participate.
Yeah, perhaps we could do a collab sometime.
Of course.
Yeah, I always like that. I always like that gold fringe thing. I'm not an attorney, and even I know better than that because I've actually seen a case law for it.
A lot of it they do. A lot of I make comparisons to. They do operate very ritualistic. They really lean on symbolism, phrases. It's almost like the equivalent I've seen is people say it's like almost like a magical incantation that if they say these words, these phrases, then somehow, somewhere, the law is going to suddenly click, and they're going to get everything that they wanted because they said something the right way. And
yeah, the magic words. You got to have the magic words, and you got to hold your mouth just right when you say them. And
in art,
it's kind of sad in a way. It really is, because they make why are you getting your family tased? I mean, seriously, because you're being an idiot. You don't need to do
getting
that.
tased in front of your family. Like, who would do that?
Yeah, I'm not sure if many people knew it or not, but it is a common thing to happen, that you relieve yourself when you get tased enough. It's not a good look. It's not a good look on people. Just probably think about that before you.
I think the issue, I think a lot of it is that some of these, I do classify some of these groups as like there are con artists, there are true believers, and there are marks. And in many instances, a lot of these people are marks. And a lot of these people are cons. And what they do, they try to sell this information for a couple $100, and they prey on people who are in a desperate situation, like they are in trouble with the law, they are dealing with a very nasty custody case or divorce, they are in the middle of foreclosure, and a lot of these gurus, these con artists come in. It's like, hey, I can bail you out buy my kit for $300, $600, $900. I can get you out of that foreclosure. I can get you out of that traffic ticket. I can get your kids back, or I can get that child support taken out. And most people who are in a desperate situation, who may not be able to afford counsel, they try to go to these gurus who sell this information. And I think that's where you end up seeing a lot of these people who are in desperate situations ultimately succumb to a taser or get 30 days in contempt.
Indeed. And I know that you know this name, Artrexis, but for everybody else, a gentleman named Anthony Troy Williams was just found guilty in a mortgage scam. Oh, yeah. No, just a few days ago, he was found guilty.
I heard about that.
No. Actually, no, he was found guilty earlier. He was just sentenced a few days ago. He ran a mortgage scam where he said he could cut your mortgage in half. And what he had people do was start sending him half of their normal mortgage payment, stop making their normal mortgage payment, and said, if the mortgage company calls you, just refer them to me, because that lien has been satisfied. Of course, all these people had their houses foreclosed on. And he's in federal jail now, hopefully getting pounded in the ass.
Damn, that's real.
He was previously found guilty in Florida for practicing law without a license. He was sentenced to 22 years of probation, which is something even I haven't even heard of. I heard of a probation sentence of that long. But he often portrayed himself as an attorney, as what he called a private attorney general, which is, oh my God, it's really complicated to explain, but it's not really a thing. It's a thing in a very, very, very limited circumstance, and that's exactly how these guys operate. As you guys have already mentioned, they are cherry pickers to the extreme, and they will cherry pick every single thing that they can to support their arguments while ignoring anything contradictory.
Is that similar to the U.S. Postal Court?
Oh,
yes,
God.
It's kind of the same. It's along the same lines.
Where they have the guys that mathematically calculate the grammar of your motion.
Syntax grammar.
Yeah.
And
they just walk in and say, I've got a lien for your property. It's mine now. Get off.
And Artrexis, you covered this topic as well, right?
Yes.
All right. Yeah. So just so everyone knows, I also put his link in the description. The video I was talking about earlier in the stream, but when we kind of got started about the this super crazy ass lady, our friend here, Art, is where he's the one who was showing that one at the time when I got to see it, and it
Gail.
Gail. It blew my mind.
She's not a sovereign. She's just insane. That woman was insane.
Let me go ahead and read a super chat real quick from Anamorphic Mind. Thank you for that super chat. He says, per the First Amendment, I am here to audit this stream.
Good luck with that, and have fun.
Mm-hmm.
And did anybody in the chat notice that as soon as Sean put out the link to join, Slick James fucked right off?
Yeah, I don't think I see. Yeah, it's been a minute.
But yeah, I like how I knew he was going to do that. He constantly citing the whole Roman civil law, and it's, again, this is all stuff that I've actually done my own personal type of research on, you know, to kind of delving into the very, very origins. And I think you asked that, Sean, where did this all start?
Mm-hmm.
And to the best of my knowledge, it started around the late 60s with the old school posse comitatus groups.
The white supremacist movement.
Yeah, the white supremacists. Right. They were, I mean, there's a reason why they emphasize on the 14th Amendment and try to claim that the 13th Amendment is something entirely different. They're not big fans of it, and you wonder why where their origins come from.
Mm. Well, the thing is because we have a few in this small little community that we sit on over here, for Matrix Media. It's one of those things that I realized talking to him. They give you this is how it works, and then when you actually go and look into it, you can tell they've nitpicked little pieces of it that sound grander, like it would work in a fake world. But when you really read what these amendments say, it's clear that they're nothing like these people are trying to claim they say.
We used to run into a lot of that here in Michigan. When the Medical Marijuana Act first came out, we had these things called caregivers that could literally grow for up to 5 people plus themselves, 12 plants each.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that was a nice cottage little system where you could make a few dollars, maybe make a car payment or something out of it by having 5 patients, because you could transfer cannabis to them for compensation. And it was supposed to just pretty much be meeting your expenses. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And they tried to segue that into, well, I can get 50 caregivers together and we can all grow in one big warehouse, and then we can sell the excess to the general public, because what we'll do is we'll file paperwork saying that, okay, well, you're my patient today. Here's your transaction. You're no longer my patient.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're my patient. Here's your transaction. There's no longer my patient.
Yeah.
And, you know, they had all these elaborate schemes to basically create dispensaries out of this caregiver system, when the law itself never really called for dispensaries until recently. You know, they changed that recently. But, you know, they try and sit down and look at it. Well, I'm not selling. I'm at a farmer's market and I'm transferring.
Is that kind of like
somehow
the pill
that's
mills
illegal
down in Florida?
The what?
The pill mills where they would operate out of RVs and give people oxycodone?
No. It doesn't have anything to do with that.
Yeah.
It has to do with people trying to take advantage of a cottage industry where you had people helping each other.
Yeah, it in the sense of taking advantage, yes, but in a sense of overall effects, hell no. That pill mill thing was killing people. This industry isn't killing anyone. Yeah. The scamming aspect of it does have that aspect of it, and needing those people out is what took a little while. I know what you're talking about, because here in California, when they went medical, it was, you can have 3 plants. Well, nowhere in the thing did it say how many plants if 6 people with cards had a house that they could add all those plants up, and then what are they supposed to do with it? That was one of the kind of like the little loopholes in it, I guess. But the problem was people taking advantage of it. I've for a long time I'd always said I didn't think it was a good idea to legalize it. In a sense, it is, because it takes away from the pointless arrests and endless tickets for grandeur. But the idea of how they're trying to get it ran now is literally to help people, and the idea that there shouldn't be regulations on it is insane. What will end up happening is some jerk off is going to think, I know how to make this strand that much better. And he's going to inject something into it, and he's going to start killing people. Then it's going to give a bad name on the whole cannabis scene. And that's kind of where the regulations are good, and you should see it that way. Yeah, it may get a little bit more expensive, but at least it'll be regulated. At least we know you're not going to get an LSD strand of weed that no one's ever touched before.
Well, my biggest problem is the way they originally set the law up. It was more of a mom and pop cottage industry type thing where it would help a large number of people, especially those with disabilities that couldn't otherwise work. They could do this because you can garden. But instead of helping a large number of people, they decided instead to turn it over to a very few rich people so that they could get richer and do it as an investment. So in order to get a license, you have to spend $1.5 million here. And it just completely takes out any normal people.
Exactly, because here in San Diego, at least, California, there's probably about 20 dispensaries. The problem is I believe here in California, here in San Diego, there's only 3 dispensaries that are what they call legal. And that is when the state, basically, federal government ever wanted to come in and arrest them, the state's is going to defend them. They're going to say they're legally doing this. They're going to have their back. Whereas in these smaller places, like I said, have less regulation because they're not sponsored by the state, I guess you would say. So getting these permits to legally do it, like Bob said, they're expensive. It's almost impossible for a mom and pop trying to get into doing it to ever even have a shot.
Well, the thing
I guess real quick, it looks like Slick James is back in the chat, and
Slick, come in and tell.
Yeah, well, he thinks that my name is Ken for some reason, but Bob, he thinks that you and I need to have an act of violence committed against us, but he's still too much of a coward to click a link.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, click the link. Yeah, he said that we need our asses kicked.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
well, come on in and kick her ass then.
I'm not too hard to find.
Yeah, come on in and kick her ass, Slick. We have our attorney right here.
Oh, we're lucky.
Just remember, my attorney can beat up your attorney. Well, I don't think you need to join to call me an ass, Slick. I think you just did. So let me respond to that. Let me see. Let me bring in all of my years of maturity and experience. I don't care.
Yeah.
So what? What makes you think I care whether or not you call me an ass? You can call me an ass all you want. Come on in and join us.
Slick's been threatening to kick my ass for 2 years
Oh, he
now.
says he doesn't have the code. I think we can fix that, can't we?
It's right there. It's literally 2 chats up from where he chatted.
Yeah, you see right there. There you go, Slick. Click that link and you will be right in.
Maybe he doesn't have index fingers.
Yeah, I would love to know his theories on the gold fringe and 14th Amendment citizenship.
Yeah, use your opposable thumbs there.
Or here's a new hypothesis. Maybe he's a
somebody
coward.
Came in.
Oh, look, he joined. Here we go.
Hi, Slick. How are you?
Again, this stream is Dr. Bob and Schrodinger's cat stream. So this is their rules. Everything goes their way. So I am not accountable, and they are essentially moderating their own panels. So,
all right. So here's the rules then. Act like an adult. You have something to say? Say it, Slick.
Well, Cat's got his tongue. Well, at least I'm not the least educated person in the chat anymore, or in the call anymore, because I only have a master's degree.
Well, he's got his mic on, but he's not talking. Now his mic's off.
It's that index finger again. Oh, now his mic's on. Now it's off.
We're pulling
this is
for you,
fun.
Slick. We're pulling for you, Slick.
Oh, now it's off.
Check
There.
1, 2.
Well done,
there we
sir.
go.
Well done.
Got you loud and
Welcome
clear.
to
I knew
the
you
chat.
could do it.
I was pulling for you, Slick. I had faith.
Now, what did you have to say a few minutes ago there, Big Time? What's on your mind, boss?
Well, you said-
None of us are
you
called
said-
big time. So to whom are you referring?
Which big time?
Either one of you.
There's three
I
of us.
think
You both got big mouths. Which one of you want to step up first?
I'm right here,
I would
Chief.
propose that Bob and I mute and let you talk to Artrexis because I think that would be the most entertaining.
You can do
Yeah,
that
but-
too. Put him on.
He's right
How
there.
you doing, buddy? How
Show's
you
all
doing,
yours,
Slick?
brother.
What's up, Big Timer? What's going on with you?
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, what's happening? What's happening?
You know, same old, same old.
What's all this stuff going on that all this mouth is happening?
All this what now?
All of this mouth is going on from Bob and his boy Cliff, and I guess you're supposed to be the know-it-all attorney or something like that.
I try to be, yeah.
Okay, well, what do you know about maritime law?
I know it only operates when you're at sea or in a coastal area. It has no business in a traffic court. I do know that.
Okay. The word citizenship. Do you know what the word ship means?
Are you suggesting that because ship is at the end of the word, it has to do with a ship as in a boat?
No, just let me ask you this. Where do you find ships?
Depends on what you're defining as a ship.
The ships that's in the water. Where do you find them?
Well, if you're talking about a ship as in a boat, then a ship is over in the water, in the ocean, yeah. Or it could be in a lake or a river.
That's why it's called citizenship.
Oh, sweet
Because
Jesus!
It's maritime law, dude. It's
You
not
think
rock-
so? So you think that because ship is at the end of a word, it has to do with maritime admiralty? Is that the logical train of thought you have here?
Big time.
Can you only worship when you're out at sea?
The conversation is much bigger than that. I just gave you one sentence. It's a whole lot involved. It's not something that you're going to uncover in a word or two.
Well, Slick ends with the word ick. Does that mean you're icky?
Are you stupid?
I think Bob is using the exact same logic that you are right now.
Well, so like I said, dude, it's just something that you have to research and understand. If you haven't researched it, then you're just talking out of the side of your ass. Have you done any research into maritime law and understand that applies to the U.S. corporation? Don't you know that there's a difference between the U.S. and the U.S. of A? Do you know this or not?
I know that there is no distinction between this, and that it is a made-up distinction that people have invented.
Okay. So when they ask you, are you a U.S. citizen, doesn't that mean when you say yes, that you are declaring that you are not a United States of America citizen, but you are a citizen of the U.S., which is a corporation? I mean, the U.S. being a corporation is really common knowledge.
You're already making presumptions without evidence. You're making presumptions without evidence that the idea that the U.S. is a corporation. You're already making this presumption, and I reject the presumption. You're going to have to prove that the U.S. is a so-called corporation as you define it to be. You need to define your terms before we can have any discussion here.
Under what government is it incorporated? Under what government is the U.S. incorporated?
This is a mainstream story that I'm relaying to you. This is not coming from me. It's coming from your mainstream. It's everywhere. I'm surprised you don't know about it.
I know about the claims made. Where I don't know is where it's actually recognized as being a valid train of thought or legally valid by any institution. Okay. I know their claims. I know the claims. It's like, don't get me wrong. I've researched the claims made by folks who ascribe to your ideology. I know all about them. The question here is whether they have any validity whatsoever in among any institution in the United States.
Okay. Let me ask you this then. The names that's on your calendar, are they not Roman names?
The names on my calendar, as in like the current
the
Gregorian
names of
calendar
the
that we
months.
have?
The names of the months in your Gregorian calendar, what types of names are those?
I know that two of okay, I'll humor you a little bit here. I know that two of them are named after Caesars, July and August. I don't know what bearing that has to do with anything, but go on.
Slow down. Can you tell me why that is?
Because we probably had its origins in Rome, in ancient Rome, I guess, when we had our first calendars. Again, I have to ask what this has to do with our current laws.
That's what I'm trying to just what I'm trying to tell you. In your mainstream stories, when you read into them, you will see that you are living under Roman law.
And this is hinted at because of the calendar that we use.
It's just a small part of a very large story, young fellow. I'm just giving you the tidbits of it. It's something that you have to look into. It's not something that me and you are going to have a discussion and figure it out over a couple sentences. Either you're interested in checking it out or you're not. That's not my business. I've looked into it for
Well,
years.
I will admit this whole sort of usage of the calendar thing is a new one on me. I've heard of other theories that try to associate Roman civil law as if it has anything to do with what's going on here in other aspects, but the use of the pointing to the calendar is certainly a new one.
But
it is original. Now, hang on just a second. Now, Slick, you came in here and said that because of the names on the calendar, that somehow gives authority to Roman law here. It isn't something that you're going to go off and look at or we should look into later. You said that. So put your evidence on the table and listen to the attorney respond to it.
Straw man.
We also use Hindu Arabic numerals for our math. Does that mean that we're under some sort of Arabian law?
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. You and Bob, have y'all ever researched that the United States is under Roman law? Now, just yes or no, have you ever researched that or not?
We are not under Roman law. We are under American law, which in part, and we'll let the professional answer this fully, but in part.
But I'm not asking a professional, Bob. I'm asking you and Cliff. Have you ever researched that the U.S. is under Roman law? It's just a yes or no, simple question.
We are not under Roman law. So yes, I have researched it, and no, we are not under Roman law. We are under American law. Now, there are some aspects.
Let me answer real fast, Bob.
That are based on laws that were present in Rome.
Yeah, to answer his question, I just did. It took me like 30 seconds and I'm done. I've researched it.
Thank you. No further questions.
But you can step down from the stand.
You were on the stand. You can step down.
Okay.
There we
go. To clarify. Okay, for the audience in there, the where Slick is going at is that the origins of our laws of the United States come from England. England's laws are what's called the common law. Common law is a very distinct form of law, and then there is civil, and then there is civil law. Civil law and common law are two distinct forms of law. Civil law has its origins in ancient Rome, where it's not done by precedent. In other words, civil law has laws that are explicitly written down and are not subject to judicial precedent. In other words, whereas the common law, in the alternative, the common law, a lot of the laws that we have in England came from England, are called judge-made law. In other words, there are decisions by judges in certain cases, and as time goes, the laws are interpreted and and read and expanded or contracted based on judicial precedent. And usually judicial precedent is what determines, the validity of a certain situation. So for example, I'll give you a perfect example. The common law form of burglary is the unlawful breaking and entering of the dwelling house of another at nighttime with the intent to commit a felony therein. There we go. I got my 1L skills here.
And is
all of those factors were formulated over several decades, if not hundreds of years, by judges in certain circumstances when people are brought in. What happens is in the U.S. has followed the laws of England, but has also codified a lot of these laws. So the United States is a mixed system. It has both written laws that are codified, but it also adheres to stare decisis, in other words, judicial precedent. Now, where Slick needs to go into...
I was going to try to sound smart and say stare decisis, and you just took that away from me, you dick.
Now, what Slick wants to bring in is this idea that the U.S. is somehow under a certain form of Roman civil law that's not valid, but it's secretly upheld and not known by the people. And apparently, you're getting this idea due to ship being at the end of citizenship and a calendar that we use that has Roman names in it.
I think that Slick has a point here, and I'm gonna go right along with him. Except I'm gonna make a slight variation. I think that the ultimate law is Shia law, and I'm going to argue all my cases from Shia law, and I think that that's the underlying legal system that we should be doing. And if I make an argument that's valid under Shia law, I think the U.S. court should bow to that.
Artrexis, what you have to understand is there's two laws. There's a law of the land, and then there's the law of the sea.
Shia.
Now, the law of the land is the one that's under the Constitution. The law under the sea is the maritime law. That's the law that you live under when you have all caps in your name. Now, this is your story. It's not
all caps.
Take a drink.
If my story is incorrect, then I'm just going by your story. Does your name have all caps in it?
Can you please cite to me where the idea that that the grammatic expression of one's name has any kind of legal validity or legal standing?
It's not grammatic. It's not grammatic at all. Go look
because all caps is what's used in corporation.
No, you're going to have to cite your source. You keep saying that this is our story, and you need to cite an example of where it says that if a name is spelled in all capital letters, it automatically makes it a corporation as you define it. I need you to cite your sources, sir.
I understand what you need, sir, but I just came on the show because Cliff and Bob got a big mouth. I didn't come on here with citation sources. I'm just telling you what the story says. If you don't, understand it, that's up to you. If you don't care to look into it, that's up to you. I really don't care.
No. Came on with silliness.
Again,
yes, I came on to address you and Cliff's big mouth is what I came on for.
Slick, I have to emphasize, you keep saying that I haven't read up this. I have read this. I have. The problem here is I have seen zero evidence of its validity, of any institution, courtroom, or state law, anything, anywhere that says that, yes, at some point in our history, spelling one's name in all capital letters delineates it as a corporation and rather than a natural human being. I have not seen that. You need to show where that is actually has that ever been held as valid.
Slick, if I spell my name in all capital letters, who do I register that corporation with?
It wasn't done by the individual. It was done by the United States of America, represented by your social.
Now, if I spell my name in all caps, who do I register that corporation with?
It wasn't done by you. As a matter of fact, it's been illegally done to you.
Citation required.
Again, again, Dan and Slick, anytime someone has tried to make this claim, make this argument in any sort of proceeding has been rejected outright. You need to show where in the where this had any kind of validity for me to say that yes, this is what the actual case is.
What section of the Constitution says that, Dan?
I didn't.
Like I said,
I didn't say it was lawful.
What section of the Constitution says?
I didn't say it was legal nor lawful.
Then where is it in the Constitution?
Well, we're not saying it's written. We're saying it's in practice.
Okay, and that is where you need to provide the evidence. You claim that this is something that is actually in practice. In any of my research, and I've been researching this thing for years, I have never seen this in practice.
Can I
have Artrexis? Maybe you're not that bright, dude. Maybe you have to understand that you're not the brightest block.
That's cute of you to say that, but you haven't provided anything of substance here. All you have is your story.
How did you find it, Slick?
I'm on my phone. Dude, it's simple. Look it up.
How did you find it, Slick?
He went to YouTube University.
It's all over the place.
Yeah, it's the language of contract.
Tell me one place where it is, and I'll go look it up for you right now, and I'll provide that for you so you can make a good argument. You can make a good argument here.
Bob, I'm just on my phone. I just came on.
Great. Tell me where you found it.
I just came on to tell you and Cliff that y'all need your asses whooped. I didn't come ready with citations.
You didn't come ready to whip our asses either because you didn't bring anything with you.
You showed up empty-handed, like all flat earthers do.
Come whip my ass.
Your own mainstream, dude. It's mainstream.
Great.
If it's mainstream, you should be able to cite it
right now.
Yep. Point
me to where it is, and I'll pull it up for you right now, and we'll look at it.
Dude, I'll tell you what. Google U.S. is a corporation. Google that and see what you come up with.
Yeah, because you guys are in denial of that when clearly during the Civil War, when there was credit looking to be sought, I think it was from the French, so they could bring arms in, they simply said, how can we bill you if both sides are claiming to be the United States? And a corporation was formed at that time basically for billing, having to do
and
with
who formed the corporation and where's the paperwork of that corporation?
Well, you really expect me to have that on me, or are you just too busy?
Yeah, I do, because you just mentioned it.
I'm going to throw it out here and say that I don't think at any point the Confederate States of America claimed to be the United States of America. I think that was the whole point of the Civil War.
Well, Artrexis, can I ask you this? Artrexis, let me ask you this since you're a legal guy. Did you know that the Federal Reserve is not federal and it's not part of the United States, that it's a private bank? Did you know that or no?
Please say yes.
It's partially private. It's public and private.
Okay, here we go.
It is a mixed system. Are you going to start? Are you going to cite
the Postal Service?
Are you going to cite House Joint Resolution 192 on me?
No, what I am going to say that in your stories that the United States borrows money from the Federal Reserve, which is a privately owned bank, and since the United States doesn't have any money to repay it, it uses its citizens as collateral. Now,
I know that's the meme that you guys like to present. That's your story. That's not the actual story. It's your story.
I didn't write the story.
Yes, you did. You looked it up on the internet. I know you did because I read it myself.
Okay, so tell me that that's not the case.
You're the one who's making the claim here, not me. You got to prove your case.
Is it the case or isn't it?
Where is it this officially noted that this is the case?
Start stuttering. Is that the case or is it not?
No, you bitch, you got to tell me where you got this information from.
See, and I'm asking you because you're the attorney. Is this the case or is it not? Tell me it's wrong.
It's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Is that all you got? Mm-hmm. Good one. Right I'm convinced there.
You just pulled that right out of your ass.
U.S.'s corporation. You heard it here, folks. You got it because Slick said so.
No, listen. I said, did you know that the Federal Reserve is a privately owned bank? Now that's what I'm asking you. Now that's what we're talking about.
I'm rejecting your premise, buddy. You can't frame your statement. You You trying to be too cute by trying to frame your question as a fact.
I wasn't gonna jump in, but I kind of want to get in on this. I don't agree with Slick in a sense, but at the same time I do. I don't know if he's meaning to say that the government is a corporation or the government acts like a corporation, because everything that we do, it does run like as if it's a corporation. Whether it be our military, we have to keep money going into that. Have to. Whether it be any other situation, oil or other natural resources, everything that happens, whether it be for our safety or our defense or offense or whatever it is, everything does kind of look kind of corporate.
Yeah.
But I think
right.
the problem I have, the problem here.
Every corporation has to have a president, a vice president, and a treasury. Look at what the U.S. has.
Oh my God.
So what Slick is saying is that it is indeed a corporation, and Bob has a great point when he asks, with whom is this corporation incorporated?
That would be a good question.
But it's the same with any corporation, a privately owned banks. The Federal Reserve owns the corp.
Now,
Actually,
corporations
are incorporated under their states.
I mean, there's a board.
Right. Or
every corporation has a board. They have a board.
Corporations are incorporated under state law. So what state law incorporates the United States?
Listen, Bob, it's very simple.
Answer the question, please.
Bob, listen, it's very simple. Why doesn't the U.S. print its own money? Why does it borrow it from a private bank? You just answer that, and you'll have your answer, big timer.
What's that have to do with whether or not the United States is a corporation?
Because it doesn't make any sense, Bob, for a country to borrow money when it could print its own. Come on, man, this ain't rocket science.
Do you think that you can just print money and make it legitimate?
Who appoints the head of the Treasury?
What do you think the Federal Reserve is doing when they lend it to your country, boss? They're just doing that.
Look,
they're backing
it. Who appoints the head of the Federal Reserve?
What do you mean? Who appoints it?
The president does.
The corporate.
Thank you.
All your corporations.
And that's all we got to know.
I'm answering you, dude. If you listen, your corporations have presidents, vice presidents, and treasuries. So they get.
Did you hear the answer to that question, or are you just talking?
He's just talking.
I'm sorry. What was that now? What was you saying? You're talking over me. I didn't hear you.
Who appoints the head of the Federal Reserve? The boss of the Federal Reserve. Who appoints him or her?
It's like
Who appoints him? Okay. It's the same in any. Go ahead, Dan.
No. Answer the question.
He doesn't know. We're not. It's not our job to know. It's your
Chris
job.
Berry just answered his question for him.
I'm looking up articles of incorporation of the United States Corporation in 1925. I don't know if it's legit. I'm just seeing a date. So if you guys could pursue that, it would make you legit. Here's something else.
Okay, I'll answer the question.
The Act of 1871. The United States is a corporation.
Oh, do not even start bringing up the Act of 1871 because I will rip you to shreds on that.
Right, just
let's please not move on until we get an answer.
Notice that you started having presidents in 1871. All corporations must have a president. In 1871 is when
you were advised when you came on that this chat belongs to Bob and I. I haven't been talking a whole lot. I just want to point out that the head of the Federal Reserve, the boss of the Federal Reserve, is appointed by the United States president. Okay, now you can spew your bullshit.
Okay, the president, yes, and the president is the president of the corporation. That's what a corporation has. It has a president, it has a vice president, and it has a treasury. That's what I've been trying to tell you. I don't know what point you're trying to make.
Dan, have you actually
corporation?
Dan, have you actually read the Act of 1871?
No, I'm reading where the president only nominates the chairperson. So you guys are full of shit.
Okay, so why bring up the Act of 1871 for your argument when you never even read the actual text of the legislation?
You were asking one, and I was trying to pop up some research so we don't get full of shit. See, because I'm reading right here. The chair is nominated by the President of the United States from among the members of the Board of Governors, right? So it's really not.
And how is that codified?
I can't quantify anything with you.
I didn't say quantified. I said codified.
I don't even know
what
codified means.
That does not surprise me.
Well, it's a form of qualification, correct? Of which I have no stature, which you'll appreciate.
He's asking how it's
really
finalized.
Nothing I can say. Therefore, no research I can do to satisfy you. So I'll bug out here, or I'll just mute since I'm ineffective.
Well, I'll tell you what, Dan, you did do some research. You put this court filing from 1925 up. Now, who filed this?
Yeah, of course, I know nothing about it. And of course, it went back to 1871.
No, I want to know about this 1925 court filing that you put up, filed July of 1925 in the state of Florida, certification of incorporation of the United States Corporation Company. Why would you say corporation company? Are you a corporation or a company?
None of this looks legit to me. That's why I continued to look and found the.
Then why did you put it up as evidence? So this is your evidence. Let's look at it. Tell me what this is.
Suddenly, you think research is evidence. You're really stretching it. I know you're looking.
No, I'm thinking that you're putting this up, thinking that nobody will look at it, and I want to look at it with you.
But you'll never get me, right?
I want to look at this with you. You put this up. Now tell me what this is.
I was casually muted. I can't put links in YouTube. So I put a link where anyone that's being quiet can be healthy and look into it as I am at this time.
I'm looking into it right now. What is it?
I don't know because I went.
Then why did you put it up? Why do you feel this is important to your case and important enough to put up?
No, it was important that you knew I was looking. That I was following your conversation.
Let me explain something to you about flat Earth.
It was just following your
My turn to talk. My turn to talk now. I let you talk. Let me explain something to you about this. It's just like flat Earth. Simply because you find something on the internet that has a title that seems to support your case, Incorporation of the United States Corporation Company.
You understand?
You put it up as evidence without even bothering reading it.
All right,
read this.
You busted me with incomplete research, dude. Wow, you're good. I only had.
I know I am.
30 seconds. I only had 30 seconds, and I had already moved on the moment I opened it. I pasted it before I opened it.
Okay, so we can disregard your evidence on this because it's nonsense, right?
Why did you show up to a fight and then try to find weapons?
I'm just wondering what happened in 1871. Somebody said they knew exactly what happened in 1871.
Take it away, sir.
You know, so clearly I don't need to do the research if you're going to tell me the summary of what happened in 1871.
Now, are you going to accept? Are you going to accept it because he is speaking from a position of knowledge and can explain it to you?
Speaking of a position of practice.
My problem was you threw it out there, and I took issue with you throwing it out there and then saying that you actually haven't read it. That's where I have the issue with. But if you want me to tell you what it actually means, because I've heard many people cite this as evidence that the United States became a corporation as a result of this act, I can tell you because I don't know if I can share my screen, but I have the actual text of the legislation in front of me right now. And what it was the title. The short title is an act to provide a government for the District of Columbia. In other words, what this was to establish essentially the equivalent of a state government for the territory that is DC.
Right. Isn't this where they annexed Georgetown and
Yes.
a couple of other small? Okay, yeah.
Basically, it annexed Georgetown. It took away Georgetown and another town that was in this territory, and basically incorporated it into all one single entity. It was for the governance of that entity. It did not turn the whole United States into a corporation. And one of the reasons I know that is because this act was later repealed in 1874, and by another law that did another rework of how this territory, this region, was going to be governed. And then that one was itself overturned in 1960 something into the current Washington D.C. municipal governance that we know today. It has nothing to do with us asserting that the United States is a corporation or that it only has jurisdiction in this sort of territory. Nothing to do with that. It created a governing territory, the equivalent of a state or a municipality, and that's all it was.
And I was able to learn all this, and I'm an engineer. I got nothing to do with law in my education. Why couldn't you guys figure it out? Chris Berry joined. He may have something to add.
That's a valid question. Why did it take us less than 30 seconds
yeah.
to disprove your entire argument?
You expecting me to break through the crickets? Because I'm reading about the Federal Reserve fallacy you guys are just putting out.
We're talking about
maybe Chris Berry wants to chime in.
We're talking about the Charter of the Corporation of the United States. So why did it take us less than 30 seconds to demonstrate that that's not the case as you are presenting it? It's a very different case.
Demonstrated it to yourself, and what Slick and I
and to you. Whether or not you want to accept it is not our problem.
What's Slick?
There's the facts.
Thanks.
And the reason I know this is it is because a lot of the sources that claim this to be true, they cite this statute, and they also often cite the exact date of February 21st, 1871. So they can challenge me on whether or not that this is the actual act they're citing to, but I'm very, very, very confident that this is the supposed act that they claim to be evidence of their argument.
I would just have to, without knowing anything, I would have to look at my driver's license in all caps with question, just as I look at the fringed flag with questions. And for you to assume that it's meaningless in both cases is preposterous. They don't know.
Why?
Because meaningless
Well,
things.
then you can present evidence to support your case. Please do.
Your driver's license is evidence of a tampering in some way of the proper way of writing your name.
Why is it improper to write my name in all caps?
It's not done. That's not how.
I do it all the time. I can do it anytime.
I'm pretty sure you'll find that personal pronouns are capitalized, not the entire word.
You know what? Back in the early days of the Telegram, they were all in all caps.
That's meaningful.
Do you see now, Bob, what I'm talking about with the Venn diagram of flat earthers and
Exactly.
sovereign citizens?
Yeah, like I said, this is basically the independent variable of sovereign citizenship. There is no basis for saying that something in all caps somehow changes its character.
There is physical evidence of it. So that's what.
Then go ahead and show it to me. Bring it right out.
I would love to have
your
that
driver's license and explain it to me.
The title of books
I don't have an
is
issue with it.
typically in all caps. Does that mean that books are corporations?
The title page of my videos are in all caps. Does that mean each of my videos is a corporation?
Yeah.
As a
Who's the president of your last video, Bob?
Well, let's see. It says written and produced by Bob the Science Guy, but Bob the Science Guy is also capitalized in that font. So I would have to probably check with the registrar, the registry agent. So who would I register that Who would register that corporation for me? Who can I call?
All right, I'm going to put
the
something out
sovereign
here.
nation of Google.
I'm going to put something out here, and I'm sure maybe somebody here can correct me. Is my understanding is that when typewriters first came about, they had all capital letters in terms of their type, because at the very early typewriters didn't have the ability to have both all caps and small caps in their names. And over history and over time, that may have been a standard practice on forms. And maybe that's the reason why a lot of a lot of government forms, a lot of government IDs have the names in all capital letters, and not that it's an example of a grand conspiracy that we're all supposed corporations and our birth certificates are being sold on the stock market for collateral.
I've got a better one than that. Slick. You say that we have Roman law here. Were there lowercase letters in the Roman alphabet? Or were they all
I'm
caps?
getting a lot of roboting, so I don't really it's hard to follow you.
All right, let me be nice and clear again.
But I can hear you.
Were there lower caps? Were there lowercase letters in the Roman alphabet as written in Rome? Can you show me a column that has upper and lowercase letters on it?
No, I can't. No.
Okay.
Is there a point? Does your question have a point?
Yeah, and I just made it. Thank you.
I'm talking about corporations. Corporations in the U.S. uses all caps according to your mainstream stories.
Okay, great. Show me where it says that. And show me where by using.
Look at any corporation. Look at any corporation name and see if you ever see any small case letters. How's that for you?
My corporation name has small case letters in it, and it's definitely a corporation.
What corporation?
My business has got lowercase letters in it.
Yep. Bob is a business owner.
What business? What business?
I have a medical practice. I have a professional liability, limited liability corporation. It's an S corp.
You're just talking out the side of your ass. You ain't got no damn business.
He does have everybody knows that Bob is a business owner.
Where is it? Produce it.
All right, can I make a comment?
I don't need to.
Exactly.
I do not need to, because that would be a violation of my privacy. I'm not sitting here doxing myself, but I'm most definitely a business owner.
The only privacy you got is what you pulling out your ass.
Okay, now Slick, I'm going to tell you right now, that's going to be your first warning for an ad hoc. Don't do it again.
Asshole.
I second that warning. So we're going to.
So now you have 2 warnings.
We're going to call it. No. I seconded the first warning.
Slick left.
Yeah, he also just said drop dead asshole, and then he left. So
yep.
You guys
go ahead, Chris. You've been waiting.
Just no fun.
No
go
problem.
ahead, Chris.
I've been listening. So I have to confess, I don't remember as much about this stuff as I did like 10, 15 years ago when I first came across it. But listen, I'm sort of split, kind of down the middle as far as like its authenticity. I have questions, of course. So first of all, I understand the mentality of the sovereign citizen. In other words, more than likely, for most of them, I would say, I don't want to overgeneralize, but I believe most of them believe that they have been oppressed to a point more than they feel necessary. Whether you agree with that or not is fine, but that's my understanding of the sovereign citizen claim. Is I want to be able to do things as a private person and entity without government oppression. Now, with that said, the claims of all these things as U.S. a corporation, when you're born, on the back of your birth certificate, there's a number, and that goes to the Federal Reserve, and you're registered, and there's $1 million bond put on your name. That stuff, I don't know the veracity to. My question would be, why would the Federal Reserve take on $1 million bond for someone who's more than likely not going to make that much money, or ever have that much money to pay back this enormous bond? What's 350 million times a million? Whatever, it's a big number, right? where is this money coming from?
350 million times a million, yeah.
Right. I mean, that.
And frankly, Chris, that number has changed. I've heard people claim that it's 1,500,000, 6 million, 600 million. A lot of the claims, and I think the problem is that that has its origin as what's called the redemption thing, where again it's your straw man entity is traded on the stock market, and what a lot of con artists do is they tell people, well, here, if you can access your straw man account, you can access that money if you just go to the treasury and input your social security number, and that's your account number, and that's how you're able to get this money out of it. It's a con game.
Artrexis, are you aware, and I'm sure you are, of a lady named Heather Ann Tucci Giraffe?
Yes, I am.
All right, let me tell the quick story about her because it's hilarious. All right, she was a con artist, sovereign citizen, and she tricked a guy who was an educated man and a veteran, which sucks for him, but he ended up being stupid. He pulled a scam through USAA Bank, and he bought an RV and a truck and paid off all his bills and all this stuff through her scam. And so, of course, he got arrested, and then she got arrested after pretending to be his attorney. And they went to court, and she did the whole sovereign citizen thing in court and said her figure for this number for the birth certificate was that the government owed her $4 quadrillion. And both of them are currently serving time in federal prison.
Okay, yeah. So listen, right. So again, my point of this argument would be around the right. I'm all about the case of rights and private property and personal rights. Now, when you have these people going out and taking out loans and then not paying them back, and then in court saying, "Oh, I don't have to pay this back because I'm a sovereign citizen," that I don't agree with. Whether or not there is a conspiracy aspect to all of this, whether Federal Reserve is a part of it, whether even any of these things are real around the corporation name and all that, I don't know. I don't really care. I don't see what that has to do with paying back a loan personally. Maybe I don't know all the story, but again, for me, it's more about the rights side of it and what people claim that they are, they have, that the government has overstepped its bounds, in other words, in certain areas at least, and versus all the financial stuff I could see as being a total hoax or a scam. But that's where I kind of see the line being split.
Okay, so
is there anybody on this panel who's against personal rights?
No, I didn't think so.
But obviously the sovereign citizen movement, it has a lot to do with certain rights. Like one of the big arguments that we were talking about earlier on Sean G's Discord is the right to travel without a license, right? I mean, we could talk about that.
Right. See, and I was going to go back to our discussion that we were having on the Discord channel is, who determines what those rights are and how is that determined? And that is the crux of the issue here when it comes to that situation. Is it you personally, you get to determine what laws you have to or don't have to abide by?
No, it's and we kind of talked about it earlier, is now what I might call natural rights or God-given rights if you believe in a creator. Even if you don't believe in a creator, you have what are called rights from humanity. A lot of people call God-given rights, but basically my understanding is things like all the I don't know if it's the first 10 amendments, but several of the amendments are those rights. And the amendments don't give you the right. The amendments are there to remind people of the rights, correct? So
I'd agree
when
with
you
that.
say, okay, good. So when you say I have the right to free speech, well, you've always had the right of free speech, whether the First Amendment is there or not. It's there more as a reminder and a protection. So again,
I don't disagree with you at all in that regard. The ultimate, the issue is determining, how are those rights that are enumerated in the Bill of Rights, how are they interpreted in certain circumstances in terms of, as we said, requiring a license to operate to drive a car, or whether or not you are allowed to openly incite a crowd to commit crimes or to injure somebody or to threaten somebody. Those are instances where who determines whether or not that is a breach of that is a breach of the law, or whether laws that are against those against those things are an infraction upon those First Amendment, those
Well, I can answer that.
Bill of Rights.
So
I
can
can answer that. Okay, you want to go first? You want me to go first?
No, go. You're our guest. You go ahead and go first, Chris.
Yeah. So my answer is simply: does it infringe upon another's right? So if I yell at you, I don't infringe upon your rights. If I tell someone else to hit you, I've infringed upon your rights because they hit you. Or if I start, a mob or whatever, right? So I can own a gun, and that's my rightful duty. Now, the moment I use that gun is where the law would come into place and say, okay, well, that was a rightful use of it, or it wasn't a rightful use of it. Like, I infringed upon your rights, and I shot you when I had no, lawful right. In other words, say self-defense. So usually in those circumstances of people, I don't fully understand what people say, like, well, when is your right, when do my rights trump your rights? Exactly that. When your right trumps my right, that's unlawful.
My right to swing my fist ends at the tip of your nose.
Exactly.
Correct.
And as far as my point on this, Chris was able to, he was able to express it as well as I could. And I'm in total agreement with what Chris said. The Bill of Rights, life, liberty, and property, in our Constitution listed as life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, are God-given rights, so to say. But there are limits to them, to the point that you cannot infringe on somebody else's rights by utilizing your own. That's the limit, the balance that has to be there, and that's where the law comes in.
And let me say one thing real quick. I am lucky enough that I own 25 acres of land, and I can drive on that land all day, every day, 365 days a year without a license, and the police are powerless against me. I could drive as fast as I want. Once I go onto a commonly owned municipal or state-owned, or highway street, that's where the law can intercede. Also, we're joined by Sean Smith and Carlos, if Bob is in agreement, if they want to chime in.
Well, I'm fine. Yeah, I'm fine too. But my question for Chris, since he seems to know something about this, and I'm very interested in his opinion on it, what exactly is traveling? How do you see traveling? How would you define that?
Okay, so I mean, look, I'm probably going to have the boilerplate answer that we've all come across in the research on this topic, and that is the difference. And again, it's been years since I've researched this, but my understanding, of course, was the delineation between travel and then what you'd call commerce, right? So if you're traveling for a business, I believe then you would need a license. But if you're traveling for private reasons, then the theory, of course, is you wouldn't need a license. I would tend to agree with that, because again, I believe you have a right to travel or what I would call unmolested travel, meaning just like owning a gun, nobody can tell me that I have the right to own the gun. I just inalienably have the right to own a gun, like I inalienably have the right to travel. And if my choice of travel is in a car, I believe I should be able to do that without paying the government for the privilege. See, that's where a lot of these things come into play, is I have to buy back my right of travel by paying, even though it's a small fee, I get it, still a fee, the right to travel via a license.
Not with a gun, though.
All right. I've got a great response to that, because I think that you're incorrect. And if you wouldn't mind, I'd like to go ahead and give it, Carlos. And then if you want, let's go ahead and see what you have to say about it.
I think he's correct as well, but go ahead, Bob.
I don't think that the right to travel defines how you travel. I think the right to travel means the travel within the United States means that you can go from state to state without having to pass a checkpoint or pay a toll or anything like that. Now, and I can demonstrate that very clearly. I've got an airplane down at the hangar over here. Do you have a right, Chris, to travel using my airplane, assuming I give you permission to use it? You're not stealing it or anything. But can you travel from my hangar here at my house in Clare to Indiana in my airplane, flying it?
Lawfully, no.
Okay. And you understand that there's a reason that you cannot lawfully do that, and it has nothing to do with your restriction for travel. I can fly you to Indiana, and you're fine, right? You can do that. The reason that you can't do it yourself is you don't know how to operate the airplane, and you can't do that safely and operate it over federal airways and in federal airspace. So they regulate who gets to do that. The same thing is, roads are paid for by our tax dollars, and we have delegated authority to regulate those roles to our lawmakers, to set speed limits, to set laws regulating school zones, for example, laws against operating while intoxicated. These are all things that are restrictions not on your right to travel from point A to point B, but how you do it. You can't operate a car while drunk, for example. You are operating on a road that is owned by the taxpayers of the state of Michigan or whatever state you're in. And by signing for the ability to do that, you agree to obey the laws of that road. And there is a training requirement and there's a licensure requirement to do that. But you can walk anywhere you want. You can ride a bicycle. You don't necessarily get to drive a car. So you're not traveling simply by moving down the road. That's operating a motor vehicle, which requires a license. Do you disagree with that? Or Cliff, do you disagree with that?
No, it's spot on. If Chris doesn't have a response, then let's hear from Sean Smith and Carlos.
Hey, I'm sorry. I had to take somebody called me. I took a phone call. I didn't catch the tail end of that, Bob, but I got the gist as far as, okay, well, obviously you don't want somebody flying a plane who can't fly a plane. And I get that.
I'm saying you're not being licensed to go from point A to point B. You're being licensed to operate a motor vehicle on public roads. That's what the licensure is. It's not a licensure on your movement. It's a licensure on the mechanics of operating the motor vehicle and doing so on a taxpayer-supported public road that has rules.
Right.
And I can elaborate on the idea of the idea of commercial versus private, and a lot of it comes down to our people's usage of old legal dictionaries that don't have proper validity and that and are arcane for a reason, because back in the day, the olden days, driving did not used to mean operating a motor vehicle. Driving used to mean a stagecoach or something of that nature. And very often stagecoaches were primarily a private business entity. It was a commercial activity. People tend to not have stagecoaches. And that's where you have the idea of driving coming from. Thereafter, when the automobile came around, people were replacing coaches with cars, but they still called them drivers anyway. Well, the usage of driving in operating motor vehicle exploded to where so many different people, even people who weren't using the car for private use, for commercial use, started operating them for their own personal use. And people have had that, but the states still have had that, have required required people to get a license to operate, regardless of whether or not they were operating it for commerce or for the private use. And Hendrick versus Maryland, which is a United States Supreme Court case, 235 US 610 from 1915. It involves somebody who he was a DC resident who got in trouble for operating his motor vehicle in Maryland and was fined by Maryland for not registering his car there. The court went ahead in their language said, quote, in the absence of national legislation covering the subject, the state may rightfully prescribe uniform regulations necessary for public safety and order in respect to the operation upon its highways of all motor vehicles, those moving in interstate commerce as well as others. And to this end, it may require the registration of such vehicles and the licensing of their drivers, charging therefore reasonable fees graduated according to the horsepower of the engines, a practical measure of size, speed, and difficulty control. So the application of the states having the ability to require operators of motor vehicles to get licenses and get their cars registered, it's been around. It's been upheld as a valid exercise of their state's police powers for the general welfare of its citizens. And there has been no distinction on this requirement between commercial drivers and private drivers. It's not been a thing. It's been people who have been relying on old, outdated legal dictionaries who think that they're almost biblical in states' requirements to adhere to it, and it's not the case.
And for anybody who's not well indoctrinated into or well versed in the sovereign citizen speak, what Artrexis is referring to is sovereign citizens' use of antiquated Black's Law dictionaries and the definitions
Black's
in
Law
there.
Dictionary.
Right, and just for something that I always say is law dictionaries are not law. And so can we get Sean, Smith, and Carlos in the combo?
Well, the other thing that I wanted to mention too is that my canoe does not require a license. My motorboat does. So the difference is not where I go with it, it's how I go.
Yeah, and your captain's license or any vessel except for personal watercraft with no motor requires one. And
well, you
that's
need a
just because
captain's
you need to know
license.
you need
Yeah,
to
you
know
need
where you have to go for navigation and things like that.
Yeah,
Basic,
and a captain's license would be
life-saving.
for commercial, commercial operation and carrying passengers and cargo. It's not for my
Right.
pontoon boat.
No, but it's always good to know. You get the more information you get, the better off you are. And I think that's an issue with a lot of the people that come up with these sovereign citizen. They get caught up in one part of one sentence or something like that, and they base their entire lives around that one statement. But they don't take it as a whole when it comes to society or other people's property, things like that. So they think that their right trumps everything else, and unfortunately, that's not the way it is. I can own guns. If it was proven that mentally I was not allowed, then it would be a different story. But we have checks and balances in place for some of the things that we hold as rights to ensure the safety of others.
Well, yeah, when my a member of my family, I was about to say who he was, but a member of my family was having seizures, and just out of the blue, and they took his license away. That was an absolutely appropriate thing to do.
I want to give an example of how the typical mindset operates, as what Sean alluded to, especially when it comes to this right to travel. And it's something that I've seen in a lot of their arguments that they try to put forth, a lot of the paperwork that they file or motions that they file whenever they try to challenge their traffic cases, is that they'll first cite a case that says a fundamental right cannot be converted into a privilege. And then the next citation they'll have is the right to travel is a fundamental right. And therefore, and then they conclude, therefore, requiring me to have a driver's license is illegal. And that's their entire chain of logic that they do. Little do they know that the first quote that they say, a right cannot be converted into a privilege, is Miranda versus Arizona. The next one that they quote is a case where the feds prevented somebody who was a member of the Communist Party to have a passport. And then somehow they're going to try and allude that to having a license to drive. And that's not how briefs are written. That's not how this works. It's not how any of this works. It's quote mining to the nth degree in how they formulate their arguments.
Well, and wasn't that when the member of the Communist Party at that time, we were at war. That was during the time of the Cold War, wasn't it?
It was in the God. I've got to refresh my memory, but the case that actually I think I have it right here is I think it's Kent versus Dulles, and let me I can think of bringing that up right now. The case in question, because I made folders specifically countering and that specifically speak to a lot of the arguments that a lot of these sovereign citizens make, like the right to travel, the all caps thing, the redemption scheme, tax protesters, reciting the Uniform Commercial Code, which is another thing they really enjoy doing for some reason. But give me 1 second and I'll look for it.
Because Dulles was in office during the Cold War, so I'm pretty sure that's around the time frame that it was. And Carlos, do you want to chime in?
No, I'm in agreement with most of this kind of stuff you guys are saying. Very early the decade, I used to watch all these videos and follow the same thing of the right to travel and the so-called police abusing their power, but very slowly started talking to different people, law enforcement, looking at the other side of the coin, and just realized that it's not as simple as these guys put it to be. Just coming from a third world country, from a different culture and different type of government, and the things that my dad went through when Nicaragua was under the Sandinistas and Somoza back in the 70s. Yeah, this people. Yeah. Anyway,
I found it. And you were right. It's Kent versus Dulles, 357 U.S. 116 in 1958. It involved two people who were denied passports because they refused to submit affidavits as to whether they were or have ever been communists. The Supreme Court reversed the decision to withhold their passports because they had to actually, the people who were denying them the passport had to actually be committing a crime or have some sort of substantive basis to deny their passports, because it's held that the right to travel, the right to leave the country, is a fundamental right, and you got to have more than just them being a communist as being sufficient, or suspected communist. But again, that is a very specific scenario and has, forgive my language, fuck all to do with the licensure of operators of motor vehicles.
The other thing is, a right that can be taken away is not necessarily an undeniable right. For example, we can take away somebody's right to own firearms or to vote, or we can take away their freedom. But that requires that requires a judicial process to do so. You can't just say, "Well, I want to take Carlos's guns from him because he's got a beard." I have to actually have a reason to show why he should not have that right.
Yeah, we have a COVID-19 denier in the chat. Sean, will you drop the link in case this person wants to join?
I would very much like to talk to a COVID-19 denier. And I will be nice, gentlemen. He is a guest.
It's someone called
Or
Renee
she.
something. I'm not sure if it's the Renee that we all know.
Ooh.
Who was
Well,
recently arrested.
Well,
he or she, depending on the case may be,
if they
is
love
a guest.
Oh man, it's kind of looking forward to it.
Either way, if this person wants to join and have his or her views held up for scrutiny, then please click the link. Well, no, that's grammatically incorrect.
I know, I'm being funny. When am I not trying to be funny? Whether I'm funny or not, that's a whole nother thing.
When you're asleep.
Yeah, one thing I have noticed is, well, in addition to, there are the different flavors of sovereign citizens. So like, freemen on the land, who are the Commonwealth, the Commonwealth versions of sovereigns that are in Canada, the UK, Australia, and now I know from last year there are now German sovereign citizens, which is definitely something interesting to see. But yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, somebody told me about that the other day. They're German sovereign citizens.
Reichsbürgers. I doubt that I'm pronouncing that right, but that's what they're saying, like Reichsbürgers. And again, it's where they plug in Germanized versions of our sovereign citizen argument. So instead of like the U.S. Treasury Department or whatever, like we're under the old Weimar Republic as corporations or something like that. It's again, it's weird.
Well, law is sort of like the Bible, isn't it? Like if you can make anything out of it if you want, if you just pull out the right passages.
I'll tell you, I put something in one of my Genesis videos the other day. I just simply put the Second Amendment to the United States Constitution up, and I said, well, there it is. It's written clear as day. Everybody agrees on what that means, right?
Yeah, multiple Supreme Courts have kicked that around and come up with different interpretations.
There have been so many interpretations of those simple words, and quite frankly, I certainly don't know exactly what they mean or say or were intended to be, what the spirit behind them is. There's a lot of good arguments one way or the other on the Second Amendment, but simply because it's written down doesn't mean it's literally in black and white and carved in stone. It's different meanings associated with certain things.
Yeah,
well, I have about 20 guns within 15 feet of me, and please don't mess with those.
I mean, and that's one thing that really frustrates me as what you alluded to, Bob, because the framers did not conceive of flight, of air travel, but it's logically understood that the Constitution allows the feds to regulate the interstate commerce involving air travel because it's about interstate commerce, aka transportation. So the Constitution allows for that. Therefore, it's sanity to just take the literal text of the document and just look at it purely from that lens. And that's a lot of what they do, and it's a typical example of how they try to mold the Constitution to fit their aims. They claim that they're not interpreting the Constitution when they really are. I guess that's the best way of saying it.
I definitely think they're interpreting it. And, when dealing with something like aircraft or space travel, there's no way that they were able to incorporate that in the framers did not anticipate that, nor did they make allowances for it, but they discussed things that were related to it. And because they discussed things that were related to that, if the relationship is strong enough, they could apply it. So sometimes this gets a little convoluted. Like, why does the federal government have the ability to regulate cannabis, for example? Okay, why is that not something that it's not in the Constitution? So why does the federal government have that? That should be a duty of the states to regulate it. Well, the reason that they regulate it is under interstate commerce. Because there was some case during rationing in World War II or even World War I don't recall which one it was. But some guy said, well, there are quotas being put out for barley. I'm not selling my barley outside my state's borders. Therefore, I can grow all I want. I don't need to obey them.
I should know this.
And that is a really good example of sound logic. That does make sense. But the federal government took the position that by growing excessive barley and selling it within your state, you're depriving a farmer in another state of growing his regulated barley and shipping it and selling it in your state, because there's no need for him to do that because your excess barley is there. Therefore, it interferes with interstate commerce. Therefore, we can regulate it.
Yeah, I kind of disagree with that decision.
It was a brilliant strategy to use and kind of makes sense, but they can interpret these things in a little stranger way than you normally would.
Right. And that's why we have checks and balances and amendment processes and all those things. And we're joined by Dr. Brian Peck, if you want to chime in, sir.
Hey, Brian.
I actually don't know what the topic is at the moment.
Sovereign citizens and constitutional rights and maritime law, because the flag has fringe on it. And we're all corporations because our names are in all caps.
Well, the names in all caps doesn't make any sense to me, because
Welcome to my world.
I can't go make Apple the company and add an uppercase letter to it for the common name, and it be accepted. The corporation listing for the initial incorporation being in all caps has nothing to do with Roman law. That just has it there as entirely a proper name, from what I understand, so that it can stand for upper or lowercase.
The Roman alphabet didn't have lowercase letters in it, as I recall.
Yeah,
but I couldn't go out and make an Apple Corporation where I have a capital A, a capital P, because Apple is still a corporate name that is taken.
Look, let's put it this way. Slick's first argument when he first got on here, his very first argument that he brought in was because citizenship has ship at the end, that is evidence that we are under maritime admiralty law.
I thought that was probably the most brilliant thing that I've heard all week. I wish I could do a video on that alone, but I can't, because it would consist of 12 minutes of me laughing my ass off.
That's not the only one, Bob. I mean, you know how they know that another reason why they know this is all maritime admiralty law, when you talk about birth certificate, when you're born, you go through the birth canal, yeah. When you're filing papers in federal court, you're given a doc-it number, doc, yeah. This is the kind of logic that I've had to read up on with these guys and how they try to fit this shit in to their ideology.
Well, what about the word kinship, which means you're just related to somebody? Does that mean that you have to be out at sea?
According to their logic, yes.
By that logic, pirates are mathematicians because they start with PI.
That actually was really good and original.
Yeah, it took me a second to process that even.
No, I was just stunned at how great of a phrase that was, man. That was brilliant.
I appreciate that. I'm just I figured it wasn't funny because Sean didn't laugh at me.
Pete Shea would have a ball with that.
Oh, Pete Shea's all in on it.
Oh yeah, he's a sovereign citizen as well.
Oh yeah, I have fun with him all the time because he buys in to the idea that all attorneys, even in the U.S., are United Kingdom citizens. Or yeah, I'm in service to the Queen because I have Esquire at the end of my name, which is a noble title apparently.
Well, he thinks that because I served at SEAL Team 2 as a non-SEAL operations officer means that I was an operative on SEAL Team 6. So try to beat
buy that.
Well, weren't you?
I hate to jump in, but I had to ask.
I don't hear denial.
I had to ask the question, Cliff. Do all SEALs know how to drive boats?
Yes, and that's actually yes because we have what's called SBT, which is a boat team, and so yes, all SEALs are coxswains on boats. So take that. That's an inside joke, so nobody's really going to understand what the hell we were just talking about.
Yeah, carriers are boats too.
And I was Army, so I sure wouldn't have any idea what you're talking about.
I thought you were in the Air Force.
Well, I'm not really, but kind of now. I'm a scoutmaster. I'm a scoutmaster.
I always accuse Team Skeptic of being in the Air Force, and he gets really mad at me.
No, but actually, I wear an Air Force uniform now, but I'm a scoutmaster.
Well, that's a noble undertaking.
Yeah, I was commissioned in the Army. I'm not commissioned in the Air Force. I'm not a commissioned officer in the Air Force. I just look like one.
Yeah, I always laugh when I see some of these clandestine courtroom videos, and these guys, they go up with their script, and this is Your Honor, is this not on Admiralty Maritime jurisdiction? And the judge is like, sir, we are in Colorado, a mile above sea level, and this is a traffic case.
I have a question on this. And I guess it could go to all three of you. Maybe a little bit more. But is there ever a situation where any of this actually works? Like, is there a guy that's like, he understands it so well, and the government F's up here and there, and he's caught him every time? Is there a situation where this works?
I've never seen it.
In the instances that I've looked, in many instances where they, in traffic cases where they tout that they got away with it, or that their case was dismissed, oftentimes they don't actually show that it was dismissed on the merits. And in the vast majority of the time, what usually happens is that the cop didn't show up, and therefore that's how they got their case dismissed. In other instances where it's a federal case, oftentimes they on appeal, they claim that they were so stupid that they put this argument out that they had no reason not to believe the bullshit that they were spewing. And I've only seen maybe 2 cases of that happening. So in other words, it wasn't that they won on the merits, is that the court bought into their claim that I was so stupid to think that this worked, that I was, mentally unfit to be able to proffer up my own defense.
Yeah, I've seen both of those, and all those instances I've commented and say, please show me where it was dismissed based on merits, and I never get a response.
Could it be like the only time that happens would maybe be like if a prosecutor doesn't got their P's and Q's correctly?
Yeah, but that's still not winning on the merits.
Technicalities.
Right. That's still not winning on the merits of the argument.
Now,
yeah,
a better way of
that's key
doing
too.
it would be to actually find an obscure law that has precedence that agrees with you, and bringing that point up.
Or a case
And
that has gone that
in a
way.
case,
Okay.
that's what precedence is.
Okay.
It would be
And,
kind of like if I were caught doing 85 in a 35-mile-an-hour zone, and then the cop didn't show up to court, and then I say, "Look, make a YouTube video saying, okay, it's legal to do 85 in a 35."
you know, there's obscure laws that are on the books, and there are laws that are not regularly enforced on the books. And that's one of the reasons that you never go into court and make your own case. Even if you are a trained lawyer, you hire an attorney to look for these things. You can feed them information and they can evaluate it.
Okay.
Now, like, for example, you've done traffic court.
No, I actually haven't done traffic court personally.
All right. Well, there's a thing in Michigan, and I'm not, don't quote me on this as being gospel or anything. But when you look at speed limits on roads, there has to be a reason that speed limit is set that way. In other words, the road has to be somehow surveyed, or there has to be a document that says it's unsafe to go faster than this particular speed on this road.
In construction, when we're planning out roads, it's like a speed of limit. If it's some weird term, but we actually do have to account for that when we're doing drainage on a road. For instance, you'll see different grades and different type of gutter systems and curbs, and that's all based on the speed that the speed limit and the restrictions of that road. Obviously, you're not going to put a high curb on a road that allows 70 miles an hour. Car hits that, it's going to fly.
Radius and stuff.
Yeah, everything is set to a reason. Even long spans of roads that are, say, 35 miles an hour. Then you see it turn to 45. All these things are regulated to conditions and wet weather, nighttime conditions, traffic conditions, stopping power. Like, everything is
exactly. But my point is that if you have a long, straight 4-lane highway that doesn't have any really abnormal conditions on it or anything, and they just arbitrarily say the speed limit on this highway is 25 miles an hour. All right, there has to be a reason that it's 25 miles an hour. And you may be able to attack the reason that it was limited to that, or point out the fact that there is no reason for it to be limited to that. And, you know, that's something that you could make an obscure case for that actually has better standing in court than claiming that you were traveling. That's why you don't need a license.
Yeah, you need a school ground that's 25, and that school shut down, and you got a speeding ticket going 30. That'd be like the only situation I could think of where that would be a merit where, like, that law is not valid.
Well, we've got a road
situation.
in Kalamazoo that's got a 25 mile an hour speed limit on it, that there's no reason for it to be at 25. I mean, like, literally none. It should be a 45 at least.
Yep.
And people have successfully fought that. They haven't changed anything, but they have successfully fought that, to my knowledge.
And that's kind of like an impeding situation, right? Like, it's dangerous, cars going slow, trying to get in, that type of thing. Yeah, I can see that there are always these little quirks that can help, that can sway an argument, but the realization.
And that's what an attorney's for.
Exactly.
I mean, to find these things. You don't sit down and do that. You don't sit down and try and do that yourself with no training.
Well, one of the things I realized real quick is in this I'm going to fight the Constitution idea, even if the law took it in consideration as, you know, all right, we'll present. Well, actually, they do, but the realization is even if that's the case, the interaction you have with a police officer has nothing to do with the outcome of your argument. I mean, you can argue as a sovereign citizen, but he's not there to judge you or put you through trial. Your job, if you're going to argue that, isn't that argument actually in court? So it's like, here, thank you for the summons, and I'll do this there. They're arguing with someone who has no diction over that.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. And oftentimes they try to do that because they want to be able to get out of having to go through the process in the first place. And obviously that usually doesn't work out for them. And oftentimes I do get when I watch some of these videos, I do kind of yell at the cops to just tell them to stop arguing the law with them. It's not going to do them any good either. And it's better to just say, hey, here's your ticket. You can have your day in court.
Exactly.
Here you go.
Yeah.
Because most of the time a cop will get flipped up sometimes when some of these guys try to be too cute by half.
And I think that's a lot of what that is too. It's trying to catch them up, make the officer worried that he may be doing something wrong or mistreating someone he's talking to, and it just adds to the extra stress that a police officer actually has to a real situation. Someone that is smuggling somebody or kidnap somebody with a weapon, they're bringing that aggression and that angst and that defense to a situation that is kind of flat earthy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the best cops are the ones that they walk up to the window, they say, I need your license and registration. And the guy says, no, I'm not going to show it to you. And he says, oh, really? Okay, well, then I need you to step out of the car. And he says, nope, I'm not stepping out. Okay, your window's smashed.
Yeah, it's
because most of these guys are just trying to make a YouTube video.
Yeah, pray to Trump guy. He's trying to go viral.
Yeah, I think that my example was a little bit extreme. Give them 2 warnings, but these people that they sit there on the side of the road for 35 minutes, and I'm also in wonderment of the people that film themselves getting their window smashed and arrested, and then they are the ones that post the video on YouTube. What are they thinking?
Well, the thing is that they're not posting the court where this happened, because again, the officers have no idea what's going on. As far as when I was watching that video at the end, the 20-minute long one, I'm thinking, who is this guy talking to? Is he praying to his belief, or is he talking to an illusion or something that's going on? Does he have a weapon on the floor of that seat or in that glove box? I mean, as a cop, your brain's probably going through 1,000 reasons, and not one of them is, oh, this guy just is acting stupid, let me treat him like a kindergartner.
Well, none of those videos came from dash cams or from the police officer's body cam. Those were all posted by the person who was arrested, and in the first case, the dummy that went to the hospital. Those people posted the video of themselves being stupid.
Yeah, that's the insane part. The first one, the guy, I heard you guys talking about it. At that point, I realized I had to have been muted. But it was odd to me. That guy's? I couldn't see that guy is blind. I actually do know some blind people that are disabled in that situation, and some of the cadences that he had were more visual than audio. If you know what I mean.
And so this guy calls himself Blind Justice. That's the name of his channel, and he claims to be a blind veteran. And Artrexis is probably aware of him as well. And there's other people that have made lots of videos about him. I have a video on my channel of him getting arrested and screaming like a little bitch once the cops get him on the ground. I'm going to go on a very short limb because I'm pretty sure I'm right. The dude's not blind. He's always holding his camera in the perfect spot. He seems to know where people are.
Yes.
He seems to know where doors and doorknobs are.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
He walks straight down sidewalks.
Yeah, that was the first time I've seen that guy, and it just like I said, I've helped people that were blind. I've been around him, and his, like I said, his cadences, the things you do when someone's talking to you when you're not looking at them, are different than making eye contact. And that guy, very much so, before audio. Before he talks, he's not talking to hear where he's at. He's talking and he's pointing and talking to the people as if he's looking at the people. He's not just audibly talking towards the sounds of where other sounds are coming from. And it's very different.
It gets better. It gets better because he has videos where he's live streaming and he's answering chats.
What the fuck? Okay. So hang on. Does he wear headphones? And
he has something that he claims reads the chats into his ear, but he seems to be reading them, answering them in real time. Like,
okay, yeah,
when someone's live streaming and they're like, a chat pops up and he says, "Oh yeah," and answers the question.
Yeah, because
that technology is not that advanced yet.
No, it's not. Because I my best friend, he dated a lady that was deaf for a long time, and one of the ways that they talk is it's an operator that actually communicates back and then types to her, and that system is as fast as it gets, because we've talked about this, and there's an insane lag. It's not a system that is instantaneous. If some of you guys ever tried doing the talk to text
speech,
it's a very delicate process. And the thing is that there's actually a live person who's, like, if someone's blind, there's someone actually reading that off, or a computer a program that does it, and it's usually slow because it has to actually input what's to be said. If it's someone pipes in the chat, if it's within that instant delay, that's odd. But again, I've only seen him that one time, so I would have to watch to make my assumption. But he did a lot of things to me that makes me question that at all, and that shouldn't happen.
Just watch a few of his videos, and you'll see.
To.
There's another attorney that's a sovereign citizen debunker. His name escapes me right now, but he openly just says, "Dude's not blind."
Yeah,
I tend to agree.
Okay, Slick, you're still in the chat, and to respond real quick, if your entire argument is on the idea that they won't ever publicize the cases where people win on the merits, if you're going to rely on an ultimately unfalsifiable argument, that says something about your case, buddy. That's all I gotta say.
And this Renee guy, the COVID denier, is still in the chat, but he hasn't clicked the link and joined. Maybe he's bitch made.
Slick, I think you're going to call people out on saying, these are your stories. No, this is your story. These are the stories that you looked up on the freaking internet and are buying hook, line, and sinker without any backing evidence. And so if you got something that we can actually see on paper that has any validity to what the bullshit that you're saying, please present it. Until then, step off. Yeah, and that's going to be it for me tonight. I got to go watch some stuff. Netflix.
Yeah,
anyway.
Can we get the link in there one last time? Otherwise, I guess we need to start winding it down.
Yeah, I'm throwing it in right now. True Blue is saying it's not Renee. I think it may be
Have a good one, Eric.
I'm not really sure. I know I heard a little bit of things from Phil, and everyone keeps saying Renee, but I'm not sure. Okay.
Yes.
It was Phil Blacka, not Renee.
Oh, well, whomever it was, click the link and join. And thanks, Artrexis, for joining us tonight.
Yeah,
and,
thanks for having me on.
Yeah, stay in touch.
It was a lot of fun. Thanks.
Yeah,
definitely.
I think we got some, we could bounce some ideas off each other.
Absolutely. We'll keep in touch. All right. All right. Thanks, Sean. Thanks, guys. Bob and Schrodinger. Appreciate it.
Have a good night, guy. Enjoy your flicks.
Thank you. See ya.
So is he coming in or not? This guy that's the COVID denier.
I'm not seeing him accepting the invitation. I see him. He's still chatting inside the YouTube chat still, though.
Yeah, if I wrongly attributed it to whomever the Renee guy is, I apologize for that.
Okay. Glover Mom says Phil Blacka isn't on anymore, so he hasn't typed for a while. Let's see. Yeah, he's not in the participant chat anymore. I think you guys scared him off the second he heard wind of it. You guys know about someone saying that.
Well, just some of those preppers that or partial preppers, I should say, because they're never ready. Part of those guys that are, they make up a part of that conspiracy theorist, sovereign citizen kind of group. You see them at a time like this, and you have to think about it, like what they're doing at this point. It's amazing to me how they can continue to have these thoughts about that the government is out to get them or something.
Yeah, I could, and again, some of I have it's a real hard stance when it comes to these preppers and how they assume the law is going to do this and that, because myself, I am quote unquote kind of one, but with reason. Like I said, I've done a lot of backpack training and survival training out in the wilderness, but the main thing for me is that I'm not waiting for that to happen. I just know that I will be well trained if it happens, and I think that's where these people are really abusing the idea of being prepared. They're waiting for all this to happen, so they're starting to manifest these things to happen, instead of it being something that you are able to rely on once it happens.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a prepper myself. I mean, I've got probably a couple weeks worth of MREs and things like that. But that's just being smart, not paranoid.
Exactly. It's
right. Exactly.
You're literally prepared if it happens. You're not waiting for it to happen. You're not sitting out front of your house egging governments on because they're going to do something. Yeah, there's a complete different vibe.
The thing I like about preppers is they have $30,000 worth of guns, 1,000 rounds of ammunition, and they don't have a water purifier.
Yeah, that is.
I've got about 30,000 rounds of ammunition and a water purifier.
See, for me,
but that's because I shoot a lot.
The thing for me is when I go, if I were to go out in the wilderness, when I go backpacking or if I go hunting, I do have a stockpile of bullets, but my bullets aren't for people. My bullets are for, like, if I have to bug out, how am I going to hunt? And I know that this amount of bullets are going to last me this long. If I'm just, you take a few shots every once in a while, you'll keep your aim and sight and all that stuff. But I know I need this amount to keep me going for yada. There's a difference between prepping for and prepping for it to happen.
Plus, what about the zombies?
Well, when that happens, then I just suggest throw all your guns out and get some crossbows. That seems to be the best idea because you can always go and retrieve your bows.
You mean your arrows?
Whatever. Yeah, I'm a gun guy. I don't like the bow and arrows, but I understand when that does happen.
The arrows that go out, it's not the bow. But I've got the ultimate zombie weapon. Let me show you.
It's a 22 rimfire.
Yep. 22 rimfire semi-automatic.
I bet a boat
with
works
a 4x
better.
scope.
I don't think zombies can swim. I never got that. Why, when the zombie apocalypse happened, why didn't everyone just go to an island?
Nobody knows if they can breathe or not.
They don't, and they may even try to build an island, but it would take an insane amount of time, water deterioration, the sea life. I mean, yeah, I don't think they'll ever make it.
But what if they bit like sharks and stuff like that, and then the sharks became zombies too?
Well, what, sharks are nice anyway? What?
See, this is what you need for the zombies, man. A gun stock war club.
There you go.
You got all these different surfaces, and you got a blade. That's what you want.
Yep.
And it never runs out of bullets.
There you go. Or you just get a really big truck and you don't stop.
Son, get the zombie weapon.
So I've got a question about the. It's just kind of on topic and off topic. When the what's that movie where the werewolves fight the vampires?
Twilight. Like we didn't know that. You knew that.
Oh, there we go.
You knew that.
Underworld?
No,
Either
Twilight.
one.
Underworld.
Twilight.
When the vampires bite the werewolves, why don't the werewolves turn into vampires?
Because the blood doesn't mix.
Of course.
Wait. I thought there were werewolf vampires or something in one of those movies.
Just the one.
Hybrid?
Just the one hybrid.
Yep. Hey, if there's one.
Selena's boyfriend.
Black Swan.
Black Swan. All right, we need to start winding this down. We're turning into idiots.
No, what we're turning into is the Aussie perspective.
Sovereign citizen Aussie Jesus.
No, they're with their 12-hour live streams. Although I might add, they're worth it. Hashtag Aussie perspective.
It definitely goes through for that 12 hours. It's amazing. You can go to bed. You can watch it, go to bed, come back, and have a new topic to listen to, and they'll still be on going.
I'm surprised Terry hasn't hopped on here yet.
He's lurking somewhere. He may not know I have the hangouts yet.
Those guys are good eggs.
Yep. Got a lot of good eggs in this community. I'm happy to be in it. If you guys want to try to get some more people in, or
I don't see anybody joining. We can drop the link one more time. I'm certainly game for hanging around. I got nothing to do tomorrow.
There we go. And the link is out there.
I see Amy Hogan in the chat. Hello, Amy. I'm going to be on the Shills a week from today.
Yeah, I like the setup they got now. It's very professionally. I like it. I like the setup and how they have everything going. And of course, Amy's there, so.
Yeah, the Shills are great. Yeah. Like every one of them are awesome.
Yeah, definitely good people over there. I like that. I like going over there and hanging out and listening to their streams. But and
the Uncalled For, which is the nice ladies from the Shills, their streams are great as well.
Yep, I listen to them.
Taking the piss out of some dudes that got a little too big for their britches.
Yeah, I was watching that. It was a good one. And in the future, I'm gonna go ahead and teach Cliff how to live stream because he's confused by technology. But that's gonna be.
I'm old. I mean, what the hell?
Aren't we all a little bit?
Well, I can claim to be retired because I am. I still work, but I'm retired because I came from a profession where you can retire when you're 38 years old.
See, that's nice. I mean, I would be able to retire right now. That'd be great. But then again,
the checks come every month.
The problem is that I have to be doing something. I get stir crazy. Really. I can't work in an office. because I've worked construction my whole life. I have to be outside. I got to be doing
Oh,
something.
I'm a field engineer, like
Okay, yeah,
literally
so
right now, but still, the checks come every month. So all of you young people out there, consider the military. You get to walk away from it after 20 years and get a check.
yeah, I think it's one of those things where it's I guess we have agree to disagree. I don't advocate it, but at the same time, we kind of need it, so I can't say don't do it. But that's here nor there.
You know what? I'll say if you're curious about it, look into it. And if you think it's for you, go for it. If you don't, then don't do it.
Yeah, I wanted to learn electronics, and a retired sailor told me, hey, go check out the Navy. And I did. And 22 years later, walked away from it. And now this magic thing happens to my bank account every first of every month.
You did your time. Let's see. Okay, I don't think anyone's going to want to join in. I put the link out there one last time. Get them out there. Otherwise, I don't want to give you guys dead space because you guys are planning to upload this to your channels, respective channels, right?
Yeah, I may dice it up a little bit.
Just so everyone knows, the Bob the Science Guy and Schrodinger's cat links are both in the description. If you do live under a rock and haven't subscribed to them yet, I would hope you do so right now. Especially since Schrodinger's cat here, we watched him blow up into what he is today. I remember, and you're like, I have 400 subs, and now, man, congratulations.
Yeah, I passed 4,000 yesterday, which was a nice little milestone.
Nice.
I appreciate everybody who watches.
Yeah, I'm definitely happy that you found your niche. I know you've been actually planning this for a while. Trying to figure out what platform, what way direction you're going to go. I'm happy you found one that you like and is working.
Yeah, I mean, I love the whole flat Earth debunking, but as I said in my first Sovereign Citizen video, when I played that clip from my debate, there's just no meat left on the flat Earth bone. There's nothing new. Everything that's being said was said 4 years ago.
Yeah,
there's nothing new.
I think I've said it before about your style of debating and everything. I actually think this is much better for you because you have a really detailed style of researching and presenting. You like to dot all your P's and Q's, and when you're jumping in on a debate, you want everyone to see exactly where you're coming from. You show that a lot of the detail, and I think this sovereign thing is one of those situations where if someone wants to actually debate with you about that, they're going to be in for it. Because that is one of those situations where you're arguing. You're not arguing something that is completely fictional versus something that is correct. You're actually arguing two sides that are arguing the same thing, but you're arguing interpretations of it. And one is obviously more realistic, but yeah.
One of the things that the U.S. military never does is we don't fight a fair fight. If we're going to fight a fight, it's kind of like Sun Tzu. If you can't win, then you don't fight the fight. So if you're going to engage me, then you better have done your homework, because I certainly have done mine.
Yeah, that's why.
Well, we saw that tonight with Slick James, who is still talking crap in the talking crap out there, saying I need to educate myself. I'll compare SAT scores with him any day of the week. But don't come into somebody like Cliff and I and try and bullshit us with no evidence. Bring your game with you. I'd love to do these again over on your channel and maybe do some COVID stuff. This is a good place to do it.
Yeah.
If we can get that video taken care of. I'm really irritated with the way the video worked at the beginning because I couldn't follow it on my screen and there's a delay on my phone.
Yeah, I think I've heard.
Yeah, we'll learn
Yeah,
I'll learn how to do this stuff, and we'll
yeah.
do some more.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier. With me and Cliff, I told him we're gonna go through a crash course on all this stuff, so that way you can do it over there and start. Because again, one of those things that helps with your uploads and viewership is having these things where everyone gets to hear your thought process rather than your edited process. You know what I mean? It's gonna be fun. You'll love doing it once you start doing it.
Right, and I'm a lot different live than I am. I've noticed this myself. I'm different live than I am when I do a prepared video.
Yeah. And I'm gonna tell you, it's weird because like I said, you recently just kind of started going big, and it's like one of those things where when I watch your uploads now, it's like it's weird because I'm used to being able to respond to you and ask you how driving boats were and all that good stuff, and but yeah, I knew you before you were doing that, so it's me getting used to your new upload voice.
Yeah, my wife hates my prepared videos because she says that's not what you sound like, but that's the only way that I know, and it'll evolve.
You're very thorough. You really like when things are well drawn out and in flow. I could tell. I can see you reading that, reading your upload little info script thing. I can see you reading that 75 times in the middle of the night next to her as you're lighting firecrackers.
Well, that's the engineer's way,
Yeah.
Measure twice, cut once.
Yep. No, and again, like I said, it's an excellent style. There's definitely no questioning whether or not you do research. Like I think a lot of people were questioning to you guys earlier. I definitely know you guys definitely do your due diligence because I've seen your uploads. I've seen what you produce. You don't produce beliefs, or you don't produce I thinks. You produce evidence through the ideas of I don't know to this is what I conclude. And thank you both for doing that.
Oh, well, thank you. And I appreciate Bob for coming on, and Sean and Carlos, and thank you for hosting. And, I take a whole lot of my inspiration out of what Bob has done. I mean, he blew up like right off the start. It took me 2 years to get something going. So thanks everybody and all the people watching. And maybe we could do some final thoughts from everybody.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Were those yours?
Maybe I'll say a little something again, but let's start with our guests, I suppose.
Carlos, you're being quiet.
You have any final thoughts, Carlos? Guess Carlos is away. Sean?
Well, that's in keeping with the thoughts that Carlos normally has. So.
Yeah, of course.
Drifting.
Sean, there you go. Sean's ready to go.
Well, I think I was going to agree with Carlos. I think that was pretty well said. No, thanks for having me on, guys. I think a lot of people just in misunderstandings, and I don't get it. They're just bored or something. But again, thanks for having me on. Go ahead and if you weren't following these two, Bob and Cliff, head over to their channels. They both put out some good stuff, and just keep looking for the truth. Thanks, Sean.
Yep. Thank you. Yeah, I guess my final thought. I appreciate it. Again, I'm new to this. I haven't really heard or seen too much. I'm actually just getting into it now that you've started doing that, Cliff, because you're our resident part of the community that kind of went to that, and I think it's awesome. I think it's one of those things that there's so many topics you can get into it. So I think it's good to show light on what's going on. I think Brian is here. Yeah, it's one of those things. Keep on doing what you're doing, and I enjoyed it. And if you guys ever need a spot to do it, if you both are away from your computers, let me know. And again, Schrodinger's, we got to get together so we can get you going on OBS and going live.
Hey, we got a
Yeah,
new
let's
visitor
definitely
here.
do that.
Asshole
And
who
we,
dropped dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see what he has to say.
I just wanted to come in and say that even death can't shut people up.
Thank you, aka Brian Peck.
And I'll tell you something. This has been an interesting chat. Now, I think if we can get the sovereign citizen stuff together so we have the videos and something to laugh at, that would be a fun thing to do. But you know, the best thing about it, you know, we've got engineers, we've got technical people, we've got folks in the medical field, and we had a lawyer on tonight. I mean, what a panel of experts to discuss what a wide range of things.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, if we can get a core of folks like that, and then, you know, a couple of really well-spoken people come on as well that, you know, maybe aren't in some of those fields, but have a lot more to add to it, as we did tonight, you know, with Sean and Asshole who dropped dead. You know, that's an interesting conversation. We can take some stuff from the chat and maybe invite a few folks in to see what they have to say. Because there's some really good stuff here. It'd be really cool to get maybe Blue Marble out here too. That would be another nice engineer to bring on. We could really field a lot of good questions.
Yep, definitely. I got a final thought from Jose in the chat. I think Schrodinger may know what's about to happen. He says, "My final thoughts: First Amendment audits, I support. Sovereign citizens, I do not." I think we talked about that. Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out exactly what a First Amendment audit is.
It's a person who goes to a place and technically obeys the law, but is an asshole.
Yeah, we kind of talked about it at the very beginning of this, or right before we started. And he was telling me it's someone who kind of runs the the gamut of the Constitution with to the very brink of breaking the law. They stay in the law, but they do it as annoyingly as possible.
Yeah. So imagine, and this is not even a stretch. Somebody goes to City Hall, finds an old lady at a desk, puts a camera in her face, and just stands there. And she says, "Sir, why are you filming me? Please don't film me." And he either doesn't say anything, or he says, "Well, then stop being a public servant. You're in public. I'm allowed to film in public." And makes a 30-minute video out of that. And so the sheriff's department shows up and tells him, you have to leave because you're being trespassed. And he says, "I can't be trespassed from a public place," which is not true. And lots of times they get arrested, and I make videos out of it.
Okay.
Kind of like stupid gray zone warfare then, right?
Yeah, they kind of try to skirt that line, but sometimes they get into the getting arrested area of it, which
is not gray zone.
Fun for me.
Yeah.
You ever play the game with your siblings when you were a child, which was "I'm not touching you"? That's essentially what a First Amendment audit is compared to a sovereign citizen.
I used that example. I used that example to Jose when I was trying to. We had like a miniature, like 3-minute conversation about it, and I said that's what a First Amendment auditor is. He gets right in your face, puts his finger up there, and says, "I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you." That's a First Amendment auditor, and we're joined by George. Hello, George.
Hey, George.
Long time, George.
Yeah, hello there, guys. What is this? The Easter marathon for muscular dystrophy?
Yes. I didn't think you noticed. You got the notice, right? You hit the bell icon.
No, I didn't get any notice. I just happened to tune in here.
Was that just a lucky guess, though? Are you psychic?
I might be. Yeah.
Apparently.
I get it from.
It's that calcified pineal gland of yours.
Well, nothing's calcified yet. Moving
Well,
along.
we're happy to have you, George.
but not
Yeah, I think we're probably right here at the end, but unless you got something you want to chat about, we were talking about sovereign citizens tonight.
Oh my gosh. Those
Yeah, that's kind of what we said.
Yeah, I love their contorted way of thinking. It's really quite hilarious.
We have Jose J.G. Gonzalez, flip flop. Are you
Probably
tonight?
have that audio because I don't have headphones. Just really quick on the First Amendment audits. I watched the good stuff. I have watched hundreds of them, and yeah, there's people that is bad, bad people that they're just pushing the boundaries. But I appreciate a good audit when people respect both sides. Now I don't respect those that get into people's spaces, you know, um, and just are a-holes. But yeah, it's not only, don't look only for the bad ones so you can talk about them. Look for the good ones and the people that get praised for doing the right thing. Thank you.
Hey, there's a term here I'm not familiar with. What's this First Amendment audit?
Yeah, basically that's what I was just describing. It's the people who take the First Amendment to the extreme, and they'll go into public buildings and just start filming people that work there. Say they'll go to the DMV and start filming customers and people that work there, and refuse to leave, and basically say it's their right.
Yeah, kind of like the Minnesota grown authentic intent, huh?
I'm not familiar with whomever that is, but
oh my,
if he's
yourself to one of his videos, the guy's a real whack job.
Oh, well, then I got to check that shit out. But yeah,
he calls himself Authentic Intent.
It seems like I've heard that name.
He gets into people's faces at Twins games and wild hockey games and out on the street.
Oh yeah, and does he say, "Well, you're in public, I'm in public, I can film you," type thing?
Exactly.
That's a First Amendment auditor. Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what they are and what they do.
I think a better term might be First Amendment abuser.
Right. And every now and then they get punched in the face, and that is enjoyable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I don't condone violence, but I am one of those people that pray. Like, I watch those things and go, "Why can't someone like that just come at me like that?" Like, I would know instantly just to punch them.
You first give them a warning. You say, "Hey, look, I don't want to be filmed. I don't appreciate you getting in my face and in my space. And if you don't, I will take some action that you might not enjoy."
Yeah, I have a bubble, and if you invade my bubble, we got a problem.
I said it in one of my videos that I don't condone violence, but don't make me the deciding member on your jury when somebody punches you in the face.
Yeah.
I mean, is duck a warning?
I don't know. I guess if
Good
someone
enough for
says
me.
it.
I was sure I heard it.
Inside your head?
So is this First Amendment auditor concept something new, or I'd never heard of it before?
It seems to be about 2 years old.
I see.
I had never heard of it before.
It's newer than Flat Earth.
It's just like a new part of it. It branches off from a failed attempt at something.
Yeah. I mean, some of these people have like 50, 60, 70,000 subscribers too. And that's all that they do. That's their job.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen those ones, and it's odd to me that you'll see these guys talking and they'll have 700-800 viewers, and they're talking just complete nonsense. Like nothing, no evidence. I mean, it's worse than anything that we've heard here around here. I've heard guys that like openly were like, "I don't have a job right now." Talk about medical jargon like they were there when it was invented, so they know. It's like, oh, that just doesn't work for me. you have no credibility to what you're saying.
Yeah, there's one guy, his channel was called News Now Patrick, and he just got his channel shut down by YouTube. He had 50,000 subscribers, and he has a pregnant fiance. And so his entire income stream was shut down because that's what he did. And so I guess that's what a man nowadays calls himself, is someone who can't even provide for his family because he's a dick.
Yeah. Taking it to, at some point, you got to just drop all the bullshit of here and step it up. That's just the reality of it.
Yeah, get a real job.
I can tell you now, I don't know how anyone would go, this is what I'm going to do for a living. I'm telling you guys right now, this don't pay shit. You know what I mean? Even you need 1 million+ subs before YouTube even knows you're alive.
Right. There was a guy called a First Amendment auditor, called himself Hate the State. His channel's still up, but he's in jail because he went to a farmer's market and was filming an old lady who had her little stand set up. Weekend after weekend after weekend, she finally got a restraining order against him, and he sent her grandchildren a dead cat in the mail. And so now he's in jail.
See.
So that's the level of crazy we're dealing with.
Yeah. See, if that was a situation, I'd be like, tell him to come meet you at my address, and I'll be waiting.
Yeah.
That's when you tell the cops, I'll race you. See who finds them first.
Yeah, a lot of these flat earthers seem to be totally clueless with social norms and the laws. I mean, like you take guys on Rule Busters. You know, a lot of times they're really pushing libel and slander laws.
You mean like Nathan Thompson?
Well, him and Bob Nodal, Jaron. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, Nathan's been stepping up the crazy a little bit as of late. He's one of the COVID-19 deniers.
Last time I saw him, he was crying in his kitchen about how great he was to himself.
Oh, that was awesome.
I was like, wow. Hey, that dude was in tears
Yeah.
talking about, I'm the best. I mean,
Yeah, that was a straight up
I don't want to call
product
myself
plug.
the best, but I am the best.
That was a straight up product plug, though.
Oh yeah.
He was somebody asked him to sell that beer.
He was like that. He was like,
he sold much beer.
He's like,
Seems
drink.
like that.
He's like, drink this crap. I just picked it up out of the lawn, put it in a can, and drink it. It's good for you. That's what it looked like.
But what kind of depth is he in personally that he would stoop to that level for whatever pittance they gave him?
Well, I can tell you this. A week before that, in Jim's server, he went in there and said that since he had been arrested, he had gotten $10,000 in donations. And I quote, right after he said that, he said, you hear that? Free money. So I don't know how much money he's getting, but he's either full of shit about that or he's full of shit about flat earth and he's getting money.
Well, the road he's on is not going to end in a happy spot.
I couldn't imagine it. The more exposure he gets, the more people that don't tolerate that shit here.
Well, it seems like he's dropped a fair amount of gray matter along the way.
Yeah, I don't think he's able.
Doesn't go through the ground. Nothing falls through the ground.
Yeah, I'm afraid if I were at the Dallas conference, I would have done more than knock his hat off.
Yeah. Yeah. Stone, you are a pussy because I would have done more. No, it's one of those things.
Well, you know that Nathan was just looking for a reason to get martyred. He was intentionally getting in people's faces so that he could put it out there and say, "Look, what being a flat earther's got me."
Wrong. I just put that in.
I can tell you, if I ran across Renee, I would be a happy person. I'd handle that situation.
With his arrest in court, did he get probation or fine or what?
Or which one are we talking about?
Renee, who took the keys out of the utility workers.
Has he been to court yet?
I don't know.
No,
probably not. Probably not this early.
I can tell you this: he came into Jim's server the day after he got arrested and booked, and denied that he was arrested.
Right, and yeah, he lied about that, which is not uncharacteristic for him. He lied about knowing however many NASA employees that said that the Earth. He said he had however many NASA employees that he knew that said that the Earth is flat, and that's how he got banned from Jose's channel. Because Jose said, "Put up or shut up," produce them.
Well, that's par for the course with a lot of these flat earthers and the popular guys. Is they lie a lot, and make things up. Hardly a minute goes by on Globebusters that some lie doesn't come out of Nolan's mouth.
Gab, as I call it. It's not about what they're saying; it's how they say it.
Well, I have to say one thing that I do want to say is when Chris came onto the panel today, on here, I was pretty impressed with how he was talking there.
Yeah, Chris.
So I want to give him kudos on that.
Yeah, if you're not talking the FE and all that, he
uncharacteristically well behaved.
Yeah, he has something to say. I think he does a lot of research on things. He found flat Earth and he does that to practice arguments, but he's pretty knowledgeable. It's just not when it comes to flat Earth. It's other subjects that I've found. And the good thing is that he doesn't pull that Aaron crap where he pretends to be stupid. Like if he hears a topic he's interested in, you can tell he hones in on it.
Who's this?
Chris Berry. As long as it's not flat Earth or flat Earth topic, he's very knowledgeable. He'll have a good conversation with you if the conclusion never results to the shape. Is the best way of saying it. Oh, I've had it.
Honest to God, George, he wasn't bad tonight.
It's just one of those things that this topic that we were doing tonight, it doesn't have anything to do with flat Earth. So it was Chris in a different light. It wasn't about that. So we got to hear Chris when it's a topic that doesn't involve no evidence. It was good. I've heard it a few times. But in the safekeepings of dead air, do you guys want to kind of wrap it up yourselves and we'll end it out with that?
Yeah, I think it's about time. The wife is going to start beating down my office door if I don't.
Well, I'll see you guys later. Take care. Have a good evening.
Have a good one.
Good night, George, and thanks for joining.
Yep, we'll see you
thanks
later.
for stopping by, George. I'm going to get on out of here too. It's been an evening.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, thanks, Bob, and thanks for proposing this.
We should do it more often.
A lot of fun. Yeah, we
should
should
do it more often. I'd get a lot more fun out of it if we didn't have the problems at the beginning, but we'll get it and we'll get that down. I've been wanting to learn how to live stream for a while anyhow.
Yeah, I do apologize for the audio problems that we're having, visual problems and all that stuff. Hopefully, if we do it again here, I'll have it fixed. But otherwise, like I said, either way, I'll definitely give it to you guys and help answer any kind of tips you may have or anything like that, because it's better to have you guys well informed than we'll have to watch you guys struggle through it. But yeah,
I will say this though. Somebody said earlier that I got this third-hand information. Someone said that Chris Berry thought it was a God-given right to drive a car.
That it was what? Say again?
A God-given right to drive a car?
I can't say for sure whether or not that's exactly what he said, but that is definitely a sovereign citizen argument. I'm not sure if he said that.
Okay. I just had to make sure he didn't say that, because if that were the case, when God comes down and personally builds a car for Chris, I'll let him drive that one.
Yeah, I don't think he said
without a
that in
license.
exact words. That's not usually his style. But I wasn't really listening to Chris. But I'm going to end this one out, guys, so that way you guys can go about your businesses, and then you guys will have a good clips to get off of without a bunch of dead air. I thought it was fun. I do appreciate that. I had no real understanding of the topic prior to talking to you guys before about doing this, so I got to look into it, and I'm excited to figure out more about it and hear more arguments about it. Now that I know
Chris is in the chat.
Okay.
Chris is in the chat. He says it was a God-given right to travel.
Okay. Yes.
Well, that's a whole different thing. So, yeah, he can be forgiven for that.
All right. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. I'm glad you didn't say it was a God-given right to drive a car.
All right, so I'm going to end this one out, and then I'll be right back, unless you guys are going to go ahead and take off now.
Yeah, no, I'm going to go ahead and call it a night.
Yeah, I'm going to get on out of here too. Take care, my man.
Yeah, I appreciate
Good night,
it,
everybody. Thank you all very much for stopping by. It was a great discussion.
Awesome.
Thanks, everybody, and thanks, Sean, for hosting.
Yep, thank you guys. I appreciate it. All right, my peoples. It was fun. I got to learn a lot. I got to watch some cool videos. I got to see some people I didn't realize actually existed in the world that we live in. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, thank you, Dr. Bob. Thank you, Cliff, Schrodinger's cat, for hosting a sovereign discussion and good discussion after the videos. I enjoyed that. Dr. Bob's link, Schrodinger's cat's link, and Artrexis Live, his link. They're all three of their links are in the description box. Go check them out. They're topics that the guys talk about a lot. Dr. Bob definitely is someone you may want to ask about, the CBD laws and what's going on, and also with the whole COVID crisis going on. He has a lot of information in there, and it's not going to be filled with a bunch of bullshit. It's actual facts and things we need to know, and he doesn't bullshit on what he knows and doesn't. So it's good sources for these information. Again, guys, I do appreciate everyone that came in and listened and watched. I know it was a little different when it came down to the panel, but like I said in the beginning, this was their stream. It was their panel. Please, I personally think that they did a great job. I thought it was going to be a little different. It went well. Again, shout out to Chris, because I was impressed with the adult level of conversation you were having with them. It's good to see you and Dr. Bob and Cliff be able to have these conversations, and artists, and have these conversations, and it not be that back and forth kiddie stuff. So good on all of you guys for that too. Thank you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. As for a stream, another one, I don't think so, because we ran a lot later than I thought we would. I'll be live tomorrow, but like I said, we went a lot longer than I thought, and I'm gonna go ahead and just call it a night. I'll probably see a lot of you guys around in the Discord. If you guys want, we can go hang out over there. I'll probably go over there, but as for the starting another stream, I don't want to give you guys an hour and a half, 2 hours of tired me. So with that being said, guys, I appreciate everyone that came in and hung out and got to hear and watch the videos. Those were amazing. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I will figure out a way to upload it and then send it to Schrodinger. I think he actually may have it uploaded somewhere. I'll go check out his channel and see what he did lately. But I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here, guys. Thank you. And I will see you guys later. Peace.
Fear. Fear. The spectacle of fearsome acts. Somebody steals from me, I cut off his hands. He offends me, I cut out his tongue. He rises against me, I cut off his head, stick it on a pike. Raise it high up so all in the streets can see. That's what preserves the order of things. Fear.
Telling